And let me just see if we are properly on right now. And let me also just see whether the audio is good as it is. Right. Just a few seconds. Yeah. Yeah, that should be about right. Okay. So here we are back at Lake Sinnlos in quite an action-packed section of the game. Unfortunately, I mean, it was cut short last time, but now we can see how this could proceed. I also got my tea and my water here, so hopefully my throat doesn't like fucking die. Alright. Alright, and let me also just turn that off, of course. Okay. So, as frick, I forgot to read the dialogue, sorry. The bridge shifts and begins to bend from the strain again. There is little Bemelay can do to resist. He rolls off the bridge into the water and fucking dies. The end. I shout despairingly, but my voice can't help. He fights to keep his arm out, refusing to go completely under. Soon, even death is pulled down. Bemelay never resurfaces. There's not so much as a bubble coming up from the lake. Okay, so I have the slight suspicion I made the wrong choice. Maybe. The bridge slowly creaks back into place, sloshing as it settles into its original position, all as if nothing happened. An eerie stillness overtakes the area as I stare, mouth trembling, at the place my companion was lost. I am overwhelmed with feelings. My eyes fill to the brim with tears. Why? Why did this have to happen? Before I have any time to grieve, the guide's voice rings out on a wind from across the bridge.
You cannot stay there. You must keep going.
I count my breaths in an attempt to calm myself. As long as I stand here, Lou can't move.
I'm going to start walking again.
Right, sorry, let me just... settings... Right, you can go. Okay.
I will too.
Lou speaks very softly. Oh yeah, probably because he just saw someone fucking die. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it's not as difficult a journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me to my core. Eventually, we make it to the other side of the narrow bridge, and the remaining 3 of us stand together quietly as we process what happened. Now, you know, I think the guide is quite used to this. You know, like, probably hundreds of deaths over the years. I place my free hand over my face to cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it. No matter how many times I stated in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago. And yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what...
Oh, sorry, I keep misclicking. Forget what you saw. As of right now, nothing matters except for the fact that we have yet to reach the shore. Morning will arrive soon. We must continue. I can understand the words. I need to keep myself together until I reach the shore. And yet it seems impossible to actually do. Everyone is being lost, one by one. I can't take it. The guide taps the base of his staff into the board, not allowing me to become lost in my sorrow. Lou shuffles toward the guide, but he doesn't make it very far before he runs out of light for my lantern to remain in. I manage to make myself take a step forward. My stomach twists as we simply have to move past the death of another person. For the second time. In the first one, at least I was basically a stranger. But this one is like a close friend of many years. So it makes sense that the reaction is just a wee bit different. Pamela was a wonderful guard and a wonderful person. He was striving towards so much, but it was all lost in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. After hours of navigating the web of bridges, the faint silhouette of the shore creeps into view. It seems unbelievable that the end is in sight. Even that wisp of hope does little to ease the ache inside me. I still feel hollow inside. Those of us remaining continue in the direction of the shore, and the darkness around us begins to break. A seed of worry sprouts inside me. Will we make it? The guide ahead seems to have no sign of concern on his face. He is calmer than I have ever seen him. I hold on to the hope that we will be able to make it through. This is becoming very bright. The sky above becomes tinged with red as we head down a long stretch of boards. We walk further and further into the mist before what comes into view halts my steps. A dead end. Wait, but now it's the entire group. I gasped at the sight. It sunk. Why? Why did this bridge have to fall now? The shore is there. I see it right in front of my eyes. Lou's mouth hangs open, completely dumbfounded over the sight. And I guess even the guide.
Is there any other path?
I ask urgently, making an effort to keep myself from sounding too panicked. The guide doesn't respond, or even turn to face me. He just keeps staring ahead at the end of the pathway. Are we just all gonna...
Guide? Our way has been taken from us. We need to find another bridge before the sun rises. Listen to me.
Finally, the guide stirs from my harsh cold. He speaks in a distant sort of way, as if he were in a trance.
This bridge didn't sink. It was never the path to the shore. And yet here we are.
What?
I took the wrong way. We can't reach the shore.
Oh, okay, so the drugs didn't work. Whoops.
I wonder how much of this was a mistake.
This cannot be happening. It can't. He took us the wrong way, and he did it intentionally? The medicine, it robbed him of logic. Or perhaps it was his will that was lost. If he had taken less, would this not have happened? Or was it over as soon as I left him to the Nixie while on the shore? My mind begins to race with a million other questions, but I snap myself out of it. There is only one pressing matter to attend to at this moment in time. I forcefully grab the guide by his shoulder and make him turn towards us.
You need to show us the correct bridge or else we're going to die.
He brushes my hand off of him, dropping his staff to the side in the process. I grab his wrist and try to pull him forward. He remains solidly planted on the bridge, with more strength than I anticipated, given his hazy state. I tighten my grip, intending to make him move this time. However, he speaks before I can.
I have done all that I can. Do what you will.
Damn. I did not expect the guide to actually end up like that. My hands slip from the guide at those words. I look at him, utterly baffled. We did not understand him. Not in any way. I feel backed into a corner as the sun rises higher. Someone touches my forearm. Lou is looking up at me with a severe expression on his face.
We need to leave now. The guide, he isn't going to the shore this time.
Is Lou actually suggesting we leave the guide behind to die? Well, look, it's either we all die or only the guide dies. So it's not even like... It's not even that we're choosing the guide over ourselves, because if we take him with, then he's still gonna die. The bridge begins to violently quake below us. Lou pulls at my arm, urging me to follow him. I swallow hard. This is foolish. There isn't enough time for any of us to make it. He is aware of that. I quickly grab Lou's hand and we start to race across the boards. So is it just gonna be that same ending, but now we're with two people that die? Oh, this dialogue seems different. Not too much progress is made before the shaking morphs into an urgent shuddering and sinking. Despite the bridge starting to disappear below, we keep running until there is no more bridge left to cross. I try desperately to tread water, but my armor weighs me down. Right, stepped away, sink, die. Right, so all of us are lost. Yay! Okay.
I can take the...
Oh, and that's just... Let's see. Oh. Whoops. What did I choose? Right, let me just make sure I can actually make a decision. Say nothing.
Going.
Does that change anything?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone notices the bridge bending at all, they need to slow and tell the rest of us. Stop! We need to rebalance.
Uh-oh. I reach a hand out to him, as futile as it is. He has already lost his balance and topples over the side of the bridge completely, falling into the water below. He doesn't call out for us or anything. Uh-oh. And now it's the same dialogue, but then with a different name. I wonder if then...
You cannot stay...
Right.
I'm going to...
Oh, and we're pleased with agreement. However, there's a quiet anger running through his response. Now with only 2 sets of feet instead of 3, it's not as difficult a journey to make. The mere idea of one of us being missing pains me. Eventually make it to the side, process. I place my free hand over my face to cover my eyes as I begin to weep. Not all of us made it. No matter how many times I stated in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago. And yet now? How could this have happened?
Forget what you saw. As of right now,
Alright, right shore. Get to shore. Morning. Focus. Bemele levels a bone-chilling glare at him. Despite this, he lightly tugs on my shoulder, urging me to keep going. Right. Death of another person. Blue was such a brave man. Despite whatever had been plaguing him, he didn't let it stop him in place. He could have done so much more, but all that was lost in a moment. I'm sorry. On the right. And then the shore. End inside. Keep moving. Worry. Hope. Red. Mist. Death.
Is there any other path? Guide?
And
Our way has been taken from us.
the guide is like,
this
oh yeah, we're
bridge
fucked.
didn't-
What?
Yeah,
I took
yeah,
the
you're gonna
wrong
die,
way.
bro.
I wonder.
Have you lost your damn mind?
Hey, but now we have some new dialogue because of Bemele.
You need to show us the correct bridge or else.
And he's just like, yeah, no, you dead, bro. Nothing to be done. And Bemele rushes to my side and hastily tosses the guide over his shoulder. He turns to me with a dire
We need
look.
to run. We're so close that we may be able to find the shore without him. We couldn't trust his word as he is.
I mean, like, maybe don't bring the guide. Now at least then you can make some more progress, but not that it matters a whole lot because you die. Wow. So all it changes is who dies first, but still the same thing. Alright, now what's this? Right, yeah, no,
If
we
you're
do
going to
need to
fight, then
fight,
I'm ready for
otherwise we're gonna die anyway. Alright, next choice. That could work. Pamela's grin widens ecstatically at my lack of resistance. I feel nerves turning my insides jittery as I think over doing something so drastic. No matter the fear, this has to be done. Even if the guide can be trusted to show us the correct path, he is not reliable when it comes to anything else. If we let him do as he wishes, it's very possible that at some point during this night, he will leave us to die. Or the drugs make him go woo and kill all of us by accident.
I believe you are capable of carrying the guide to the other side. That seems like the least risky option we have for the group at large.
Bemele lets out a small triumphant laugh and tosses the vial over to me. I catch it and quickly tuck it away in my pocket. I'll return it to its rightful owner once we've made it to the shore. Bemele steps back up to the guide's side, who still shrinks slightly beneath him. The guide narrows his eyes as Bemele grows near.
Fret not. I will take proper care to lift you. This isn't the first time I've carried an injured traveling partner. I'll have to hoist you over my shoulder since we've still got a ways to go. I ask that you don't make too much of a fuss about it.
The guide stares at him plainly.
I'm hardly in a position to resist. You've taken away my ability to do anything but be dependent on you and your decisions. Even though this path was only taken because I am not someone you care for rather than true pragmatism, it is a better mindset to have on these bridges than how you've acted thus far.
Bemele snorts out a sarcastic laugh.
Thank you for your approval.
Hey, you know, it works. He bends down and grabs the guide. lifting him over his shoulders. Bemele is careful not to bump the guide's legs. He still winces in pain, clenching his staff tightly as he's jostled back and forth. However, the arrangement is quickly settled, and Bemele is ready to begin walking with the guide in tow. Lou again doesn't say anything, quietly surveying the situation. He seems far more nervous now that the option they laughed over is a reality. I must trust that his worries will not come to pass.
Continue down this bridge. We cannot remain here any longer.
Bemele gives him a nod and starts to walk across the soggy boards as the new head of the group. We walk along the bridges together in the stillness. The guide's occasional instruction of what path to take is the only conversation that reverbs in the night. Our steps echo throughout the bridges, and I'm more acutely aware of just how many paths there are spread across the lake than ever. Even the voices of the lake? Wow, I guess you could call it a lake of voices. But it's no consolation, for in their place is the otherworldly squishing sounds of the prowlers contorting their aquatic forms across the boards. It's impossible to tell exactly where they're coming from. The sound seems to echo in every direction at once. All I know is that it's too close for comfort. I do my best to ignore the feeling, but the sounds still fill me with a constant, lingering dread. We cross a long path and come across a strange sight. It's a bridge which curves in and becomes wait, but we didn't take the drugs. So how come we still come past here? Eh? Ke? What? Eyeing the dubious bridge warily, I grow nervous at the idea of getting that close to the edge. Bemele's pace slows before coming to a stop directly in front of the foreign way. For once, he looks to the guide for this matter. The guide appraises the bridge, looking intensely down the path ahead.
Normally it would be possible to cross a narrow bridge if one is careful with how they step. We can't continue as we are. Our combined weight is too much.
Is there another path?
This is our path.
Uh-oh. Bemele's eyes widen at the explanation, before gritting his teeth and speaking with a tone coated with suspicion.
So, you knew from the start we'd reach a point where putting you down was the only
Fair enough. He scoffs derisively, then purposefully strides forward, planting his feet on the mouth of the narrowed bridge.
Unfortunately, that plan isn't going to work. I may not look the part, but I'm quite light on my feet. If this is our path, then prepare to cross it with me.
Yeah, like, technique isn't gonna matter a whole lot when you're just collapsing because the bridge is weak. Technique can only do so much. The guide still does not speak. He looks completely unfettered. Bemele doesn't take kindly to the guide's dismissiveness. He lifts his boot for a second time, stretching it out ahead of his body and threatening to move even further down the narrow way. He is bluffing, isn't he? I've known Bemele for a few years now, and I wouldn't assume even his recklessness would go this far. Right, this seems like a good point to save, because I have a feeling a choice is coming up. Yet I cannot help but hold concerns. One wrong step could mean the end for the both, regardless of how serious his intentions are. Has this gotten out of hand? For only a second, I catch the guy looking my way. The moment I realize it, however, he's returned to staring down Bemele.
Do it. To die on these boards is my fate. What difference is there should it be today or tomorrow? It is only those you are trying to protect who will suffer.
Bemele snarls under his breath, but puts his foot down where it originally was. He then even takes a few steps back, his head lowered in defeat. It seems we have no choice. I reach into my pocket to take out the vial belonging to our guide. Bemele places the guide back onto the ground as I hand the medicine towards him. He takes it from me and downs the entire dose almost instantly. But maybe because it's later, the side effects don't come into action too early.
I thought you were only going to take half.
The less medicine I drink, the longer it takes to have an effect. Our time is even more limited thanks to how much was wasted on your little game. I had to drink it all so we could move forward. It should be fine.
Uneasy and regretful glances are shared throughout our party. None is showing more of those emotions than Bemele. We've been forced to accept that, for better or worse, on Sinnlos, the guide decides all. It is disheartening. At the very least, the guide gains his mobility back in short order, as he assured us. I shake off the heaviness of what happened and put my focus on the task ahead. I give a firm look to my traveling partners and hope they'll feel the same. With no further discussion, the guide smoothly glides across the bridge in the center, until his effortless walk brings him to where the boards widen again. Now it is our turn, and with frick.
I will stay in the middle.
Right, but I'm certain that someone
I can take the front.
will die. And the bridge bends, stretched beams, sound of alarm,
We need to
just
focus on
whisper.
keeping our...
Can't let the bridge leave, can't leave Lou behind. Can make a track on, we aren't close enough. We haven't even this time. Can't be sure of these concerns, maybe blah. Right, let's...
Should we keep going?
Let's lose Lou, you know, no offense, but it just seems like the best option. Lou darts his eyes around the lake nervously.
Yes, we need to...
Right, and then blink blonde,
Stop.
da da da. And sooner or later,
Wow.
sooner. And bam. Right, yep, over.
Cannot stay.
Right, keep going. It's the same thing. Alright.
Forget what you saw. As of right now.
Okay, still the same dialogue, nothing changes. Alright, comfort, morning, not getting lost, bone chilling, forward, twisting, plague him, sorry, hours, unbelievable, hope, and they still die.
Is there a... guide?
And
This bridge.
What?
I took the wrong one. I wonder.
Have you
uh-oh.
You need to show us the...
We need...
And blah blah blah, dead. Alright, now I think this will basically go the same, but I just... Cool. Well, I mean, probably not cool, but you know. No. Load. Alright,
going
let's
to
fight.
I am.
Skip. And then let him have his medicine. Right. No, because full dose kills you. And if you wait, then also full dose and he dies. So this is literally the only other option we have. You know, there's only so many dialogue options. I bite my tongue and let the thought go. Now is not the time to be making even more of a fuss. The guide knows how to manage these types of situations. Creating another discussion will waste more of our time and accomplish nothing. It's already settled, and I need to keep it that way. Our group moves at a much brisker pace than the previous night. After the exchange that just took place, the mood has sunk low into a murky pool. Not a word is exchanged between us. The only sounds that accompany us are the whispers of the demons in the lake, and the pounding of our feet hitting the wood. After some time, okay. Right. Marches forward with no hesitation while the rest of us awkwardly halt. He calmly walks in the center of the board. Halfway there, he begins to wobble. I suck in a breath as I can only watch. To my relief, the guide is able to steady himself and make it all the way across without another hitch. Now it's our turn, we only have one lantern, so basically one of us will have to die. Alright. Save here.
I can take.
Alright. Let's have him die this time. Right, no concern. Hope we make it through. We're near the very end of the bridges. Wait, this is different. I can smell the trees and the earth, and even through the fog, I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. And then a prowler appears. Lou doesn't seem surprised, as though he had expected not to make it without further issue, or even at all. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
The guide says nothing. However, he extends his hand to accept my offer. I feel my body tense for a moment, before relinquishing my light to the guide. It's not much farther. I'm sure we can make it. Are you sure about that? The guide slowly steps ahead. He and the creature brace for confrontation. Lou and I stay close enough to the guide's back to keep him from being left behind in the darkness.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
Alright, bro. He then darts forward and launches the light directly at the prowler. It makes a snarling hiss as it retreats defeated back into the black waters. None of us waste even a second looking back. We push forward. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I can possibly manage without slipping on the boards. We run across the entire way, spurred on by the shoreline rapidly approaching. We make it! Wow! Miraculously, I feel my feet plunge into dirt. I stumble forwards, nearly collapsing onto the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. Lou stares hard at the dirt beneath him. I cannot place what it is that he might be feeling, though I barely know how I feel right now. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap and see Lou standing away from me. His gaze is empty as he stares out into the thick fog veiling the lake. As though he realized I was staring, Lou suddenly twists his view back. We look at one another for a time. I can only guess what he may be thinking. No words need to be exchanged between us. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing and wood captures and wood lurching captures our attention as the bridges begin to sink. In a few minutes, only the lonely dock is left. With that, the guide walks towards me.
It is time to leave this place.
Nothing left for you. Calm. Do I thank him for this? Should I give him my trust? Was our survival because despite fog removed, serious position, cannot submit our lives, only one of the guides, I return to the village and I look away to face Lou, not wanting to get caught up in this any longer. He catches my eyes on him and looks back. Lou opens his mouth, however no words come out, so he closes it again. The two of us stare each other down awkwardly. After another brief moment, he gives me a shaky smile.
Goodbye. And, thank you.
He backs away from me slowly at first, studying my face deeply one last time before turning around completely and darting into the forest. I feel so caught off guard by the action that by the time I recover, he's already gone. I recognize that he probably needs some time alone to process what happened. He's safe. He's alive. That's all that matters. Despite the firmness I so intently try to have, my heart starts to waver. Pamela, Margaret, they're both still here. Yeah, in the lake. I wish to give them a proper farewell. I want to do something. My eyes begin to water, and I almost turn back around. No, it is done. I need to remember that they would never want me to ascribe their lives to Sinnlos. Nothing would... Okay, that's repeat dialogue. Steadfast. And then, let's see, now that she's alone, I expect this dialogue to be a bit different. I at last arrived at Hamer. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hamer's own guards in forcing... Wait, but now that she's alone, will that be enough? But during the moments of... Okay. And then the vision... The villagers were alarmed. When I arrived... Oh, sorry, that's really not appropriate given the fact that this other character just died. But it did not... But it did not take them long to guess what must have happened to Pamela. Having to recount the terrible story was almost more than I could endure. Endure? Well, whatever. Yet I know that it will be even worse when I must tell my fellow guards back home. They deserve to hear the truth from me, regardless of how I feel. Receiving payments, he must give a report. Margaret died. Right, intelligent, thoughtful, respect. But you survived. Lou never reappeared after walking away that morning. I do not know where he has gone, but wherever he went, I pray that he will live a safe and wonderful life. Perhaps someday we will meet once more. I have not seen, I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. Yeah, like the guide seems to really just live in the lake. I worry about when I must return home to my usual life. It will be difficult to continue as things were before. One thing I know for certain is that my village elder must be told that no one is to cross Sinnlos again. I've already told Hamer. Try to keep the lessons. Right, and that's probably for getting to the end without whatchamacallit, Pemley, yes. Right, and now let's say
Should we
nothing.
keep going?
And then there we go, different dialogue. Pemley curses quietly as the prowler slowly, sloppily advances. We eye the monster
Here,
intently,
take my lantern.
take the lantern. Okay, that's still the same. Then brace for confrontation, stay
Be
back,
ready to run.
run. Does Pemley make it now? Right, push forward, run, run. And oh, they made it. Okay, cool.
Thank God. Oh, thank God.
I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Like this, that's the final bit of dialogue, like you made it. So yeah, it really does seem that having 3 survivors, not counting the guide, is simply impossible. I'm pretty sure that even if we would save Margaret at the start, and Lou, that there would happen something. That something would go wrong and they would be gone. Pemley walks over and sits down in the dirt nearby. He gazes deeply into my eyes with a gentle smile grazing his lips. No words need to be exchanged between us to know what the other is thinking. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak, even if I needed to. The sound of slow, okay, and then woo,
It is time to
time
leave
to
this.
leave. Wow, bye bye. Alright, yes, that is more repeats. Okay.
Goodbye.
Inform the people, don't go to the lake is bad. Yeah, we all knew that already, but sure.
Pemley, we're leaving.
He lifts his head at my voice and grins through his expression. Oh, and grins, though his expression quickly sours into a frown. He shows no eagerness to move forward and keeps his distance. He still feels regret that it's only us who are leaving. I emphasize greatly with him. Wait, no, empathize. I empathize greatly with him, knowing that feeling is one we will never escape from, even after this lake is far behind us. However, he manages to weakly smile again.
Those words are music to my ears. Let's head out.
But I feel like this was still a little bit different than if he were to leave Lou behind at the very start. It saddens me to think Pemley doesn't even have the strength to become angry. Though perhaps he had an epiphany about this lake in the same way I did. What do you mean epiphany? You already knew it was the Lake of Death and Despair, and you just had confirmed that it was the Lake of Death and Despair, but there's no like new information. It's just oh yeah, no, it is indeed that, but we already knew that, so we did not need to learn that. Despite the firmness, I summoned, okay, Margaret Lou, farewell, remember, steadfast. Oh, right, because it's like, kick at the steadfast. They were grateful to see me. With a solemn heart. During a moment of calm. Now Pamela is still here. Right, that is the same dialogue. There was a bit of distance, but yeah, it seems fair. Right, then Margaret was dead. And Lou was dead. Can only... Yeah, but that's the same, even though like we learned a lot more because we had him with us. Oh, that's a shame. Right, obscured and difficult to return. The darkness and suffering and death and despair. And is that just the same? Okay, so no achievements or anything. But still slightly different bit of dialogue, I believe. Okay.
We're going to have to
see.
pick one.
I don't know which one I chose. Okay. I don't. Right, first we went to search for Pamela, so now let's try to go after Lou. He doesn't turn to face me. I hesitate as well, unsure of how to proceed.
Would you...
Alright. Oh wait, no, we've already done this. Let's see, is there... Oh, what happens if I say nothing? I sigh warily, and yet somehow feel as though my resolve has been strengthened. At least for now.
I'm going to head out. I want to see how...
I'll make it easier by coming along. Then you won't...
Alright.
Of course you both would come.
Oh, now he's sad because he wanted alone time. Oh, sad boy. He is smiling, but I can see the truth in his eyes. He is disappointed.
The shore is unsafe for anyone. It isn't because I do not trust you.
Thanks.
Lou does not look any better over the reassurance. He avoids eye contact while continuing to have something of a pout on his face. Perhaps the true issue is that I included Pamela rather than offering to go alone. I can appreciate how he feels, but we cannot afford to underestimate the risks of this island regardless. Still, his interest in me causes a secretive smile to play across my lips. Lou returns my unexpected smile wholeheartedly, if not a little self-consciously.
Let's find him then.
It's treason then, sorry. We head into the brush where we saw Pamela go and find him shortly again. Or something. I wave amicably while Lou stands to my side a few steps farther back than he should. To be included. Oh, right.
Were you searching?
We were looking for you.
About what?
Oh,
Nothing.
yeah, this is a bit odd, but you know, I kind of understand.
We could walk around the island.
Oh,
Then again,
Really? I'm of the mind that...
I
Right.
still want to go.
all right then.
And then we go for a walk. Let's see. This seems different, but again, like it's been a week, so I don't fully recall. Sorry, I forgot that control skips. But well, let's see, visual. Yeah, there's no choices. I don't expect there to be a lot of changes. Well, I mean, of course we know why we gotta go. It's because of the bridges. You know, that's kind of speaks for itself. The four of us press onto the shore. Dark water slab at the end, and let me guess.
Bridges are late.
Bridges are
If they
late.
don't arrive as
Right, so... what time do I watch? Scan the forest. Uh-oh.
Hey,
Let's see. Great effort. Catches them off guard and they scatter to rejoin the rest. Okay. So... is that the injury? Gripping my lantern, I watch over everything. The water begins to stir, the bridges prepare. Right, we already know that light
if you're
will
going
do.
to fight, then I am as well.
Wait, I wonder what
I
happens
will
if
attach the link into my belt for now.
if I stay silent actually. Oh well. Let's see, does this change? Yeah, what happens if I say nothing?
I believe you are capable of
Okay,
carrying
so
the guide
that's
to the
just the
other
same
side.
thing. Right, let me... yes. Wait, no.
We're going to have to pick one.
Alright. Blue, wait. Skip. Alright, then say nothing. Skip. Then what happens if I throw the lantern again? And let's see, I inch my way over to the most advanced group of Nixie. They drift slowly as they attempt to get behind the guide. I'm of no concern to them, at least for the time being. The guide spots me, doesn't say anything. Right, he doesn't want the Nixie to recognize him. Okay, this feels different, yeah. I steady my arms and assume a strong stance. I stop for a heartbeat to take a deep breath. Then I jump forward a small way and toss my lantern towards the group of Nixie on the guide's on the guide's right side. They're all caught off guard. None of even attempt to steal the lantern. Oh, that's convenient. The light the light does what? The light does what now? Edging close to them, combined with the general chaos, disturbs the creatures enough to frighten them. The left group joins the right in retreat. The guide observes the waterline, making certain that they have all crawled back into the water, and then releases a small sigh. He walks over to retrieve my lantern off the sand where it landed, keeping it. Wait, but now he doesn't need the pain medicine, right? Tentatively, I take a few steps towards him. He extends his arm forward, offering my lantern back to me. I've never gotten so close to the guide before. He hasn't allowed it. Being in his presence this way feels unclear. Don't tell me you're crushing on the guide just because of this. Come on now. His eyes are expectant, impatient, and I waste no more time. I move to accept it, but I flinch before I can grasp it.
What's wrong?
His face hardens, scrutinizing the unexpression. Right, I see. I somehow connected those words. Okay. His face hardens, scrutinizing the unexpected reaction. I banish whatever expression was on my face and take hold of what's mine.
It is nothing.
He lets it go, though does not make any attempt to leave. I don't believe it is because he's worried about leaving me in darkness. He still suspects something is wrong. The guide watches closely as I set the lantern aflame once more. Its light gently washes over me, and I smile at the sight. This tool I hold is one of the exceedingly few comforts one can have on Sinnlos. I do not wish to part with it again. He is still here, and I begin to worry the guide intends to admonish me for what I've done. I may have let emotion show my face again, because he starts to speak.
Keeping a hold of your light is crucial. However, if you took no risk, your only way across could have been lost. It wasn't an empty self-sacrifice.
Oh, he's nice.
In your position, neither option was correct. Neither was wrong.
Cool. Yes, I agree. Our enigmatic lead nods, and upon finishing up his thought, he returns to his original place. I stare flabbergasted at the guide's back. By chance I was put in a circumstance that allowed our values to align, but never would I have expected him to acknowledge that I made an acceptable decision. I stop myself from getting further distracted. Instead, I glance down at my light and realize the glow looks different. I wince. There is a large crack wickedly curving up the back. Well, that should not be an issue. Hopefully. I'm thankful that it still works. Still, I fear that it will not hold out until the morning. I look forlornly at the fragile glass surrounding the simple flame. In a way, this event has forcefully reminded me of how fragile my own life is. One slip could mean the end of everything. Regardless, nothing can be done presently, and we've got enough to worry about as it is. I cannot let this consume me. We will continue to resist against this lake. After an untold period of time, the bridge goes up.
We have to leave.
And we can leave because now the guide isn't injured. I also don't know if he kept the lantern last time. I sort of lost track of lanterns. Little time, just move. Alright.
Being taken into the water is the biggest threat with these creatures. While we're on the shore, we can keep it.
Right, so it's fighting. Right, and we know we have to fight. Because I know that last time it was insufficient.
I will attach the lantern to my
I'm ready.
Alright.
blue.
And then pum. And there we go. It is there that we encounter the guide. Upon seeing his figure, I hide a sigh of relief. We haven't been left behind. Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything. But Mel starts to laugh incredulously through uneven breaths.
Such recklessness.
Yes, it worked.
Normally, I wouldn't ever say anyone on these bridges are lucky. But we are.
Yeah, I agree. We treasure the moment of triumph for a little more before the guide ends his silence.
We need to start walking. We've already lost much time as it is.
Yes, let's go.
I can stay ahead in between the guide's light and yours. I will be fine there.
Seems sensible enough, maybe? At that, I become fraught with worry. I look over at Pamela, concern rioting through my body as I wonder how he'll fare being so far away from a light
I
source.
think it would be fine if we all stayed together.
Pamela and I confer with our eyes before silently agreeing with one another. We nod. And then we're gonna get near a bridge and we're gonna absolutely lose someone again.
Okay, we'll do
Probably.
that then. Thank you.
Other than having a bit of a crowd as opposed to an entirely straight line, our journey moves ahead as it did the night before. The silent night creeps along as we carefully move through the thick fog, making certain not to bump into one another. Then all... Do we have matches? The three of us gasp simultaneously, and I hold my breath like time. Like time will stop with my breathing. To my great relief, the light flutters back on. The air I'd been anxiously holding in releases as a sigh.
What's going on?
The guide has halted, but does not bother to turn around as he asks the question. Okay. Yeah, cat just came here, but then decided not to ask for attention.
It was nothing.
I watch as he shifts his head back to look at us. The stare he gives is probing and deeply unnerving. He doesn't believe me. Well, yeah, maybe because you were lying. I return his gaze, my expression blank. We remain locked in this moment. I can feel his patience with me slipping away. He chooses not to... Wouldn't it be a good idea to actually be honest about that? You know, it just seems like that would be the better choice. He chooses not to spend any longer waiting for an answer that will not come. The guide faces his back to us once more. He acts without a word, but I know he isn't satisfied. Our small group shares anxiety-ridden looks as the guide moves ahead. I look down at my lantern. The crack seems larger than ever. I feel as though I am cracking with it. There's nothing I could do to fix it should it go out for good. Well, maybe, just maybe, it can hold out the final few hours it has to.
We need to keep going. We shouldn't speak of this.
I can feel that they're apprehensive over the situation, and undoubtedly curious as to how it happened in the first place. Did I wrong click? However, this is not the time. I don't want to draw attention to this for fear of the guide catching on. The chattering of Nixie bubbles up out of the darkness, and I gulp harshly. The thought crosses my mind that they too have noticed what just transpired. We walk for quite a bit longer. The voices whispering amongst each other has died down, but the squishing and clicking of prowlers has replaced them. It's difficult to trace the exact origin of the sound. All I know is that it's far too close for comfort. The guide stops abruptly, bringing us to an awkward halt. Luckily, there are no impacts between the three of us.
Stay where you are.
My eyes are drawn to the guide. He's making small movements, cautiously pressing his foot into the boards in front of him at different spots. Could something be wrong with the bridge itself? My theory is proven correct almost immediately. It collapses.
Boards ahead are unstable. They may break when stepped on.
Is there another path?
No, we
This
die.
is our path. Move slowly and do not have two people on the same board at a time. I will cross first. When I find a stable section, I will inform you. Then you will follow my lead.
Okay, yeah, that seems fair enough. He doesn't allow us time to answer before darting forward. His steps are light, but beneath him the wood creaks loudly.
Why are the bridges this way? They can be burned into ash and will still rise the next nightfall. And yet this spot is less stable than the rest. It is strange.
Oh yeah, the bridges are some sort of magic weird thing.
There likely isn't a reason for it. It's just another piece of madness.
Lou doesn't say anything on the topic, merely staring ahead. The guide breaks his cautious steps, testing the security of the bridge Meow meow. A meow meow. A meow meow. Meow. Yeah. A meow meow. There so. Hmm? Happy now? Happy now? Are you happy now? Do you want some more attention? You're getting a lot of attention already. Now I need at least one hand free, so I hope that's going to be okay with you. Alright.
Where I am now is solid. You only need to reach this position.
So it's basically like the narrow bridge thing, but different.
We'll be right there.
I face the others.
To ensure that there is enough light for all of us, I will go second. We need to keep enough distance between each other to not break the boards.
It seems to be like the exact same, except a different method. Bemele elects to lead and starts going forward, inching gingerly across the trembling boards. Right, that seems like a safe point. After there's some distance, I begin to follow, focused on keeping my movement steady. Lou is the last to leave. The three of us carefully navigate the creaking, soggy wood. We attempt to keep to the guide's path in hopes that the boards will hold. I feel my foot lay heavily on the board. It bends hair-risingly under me. I wince as I slowly step off of it. I wonder if we should be crawling on all fours to spread our weight over a wider space. But that may make us more vulnerable to those creatures. My focus is broken when I hear a shout from ahead. Bemele's foot has snapped through the bridge. That maybe I should do nothing. Despite every cell in me screaming to help, I force myself not to make any sudden movements. Bemele lifts his foot up from the cusp of the water and places it back on the board in front of him. Thank goodness, the entire section could have collapsed. Lou looks at us, clearly concerned.
A part of the board broke. Everyone is fine, however. You should avoid that section completely.
Okay.
We're still in much danger as we stand here. I encourage him to begin moving once more. Like, surely it shouldn't be that much further. I make sure to skip over the broken board myself when it comes to it. As I pass by the hole, I catch a bit of movement in the water, but when I look closely, there's nothing there. After a few more agonizing minutes, everyone reaches the other side. Everyone? Each of us three mutter various expressions of relief. There isn't a word from her guide. We continue our journey across the bridges, sharing small sporadic bits of conversation, until we're plunged into the lantern goes out again. I immediately come to a screeching halt that almost makes the two near me lose their footing. I look down at my lantern. It's as dark as the water. The three of us stare at it, silently pleading. A few moments pass, and yet the lantern remains cold and lifeless. Hello, kitty cat. Hello. Are you digging your nails into my arm? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. Very nice. Thank you. Do you like my microphone? Do you think my microphone is interesting? The other cat did too. On Wednesday's stream. Did you know that? Did you know that? That the other cat also liked the microphone? Yes. And then someone even said something about it. And then there was a chat who was like, your cat is loud as fuck. Yes. Yes. Okay. Can I continue? Thank you. A few moments pass, and yet the lantern remains cold and lifeless. In desperation, I jiggle the lantern, hoping that something will somehow click and the light will return. Nothing happens. I feel the other's nerves climbing with every second. They shift uncomfortably as they watch me pathetically attempt to relight it. We are quiet, still hoping that the guide won't notice. Why don't you want the guide to notice? Like, if you're gonna die, then you're gonna die. And otherwise, maybe the guide can help. So I cease shaking and tap at the sides of the cracked glass. When that doesn't yield any results, I open the lantern itself and look over the internal workings. I cannot reach inside. Despite its appearance, the metal has retained the heat from before, and I would be burned. As the darkness stretches on, I frantically try to figure out what the problem is, from sight alone to no avail.
Your light is gone.
The indifferent tone of the speaker is unmistakable. No, not yet. I look up from my work to see that the guide is approaching us. I am at a loss for words. He comes near, and the edges of his light shelter us, like a blanket.
Relight it.
My hands begin to tremble. I know that it won't do anything, but I do as demanded and hope for a miracle. I attempt to get the inner core to catch flame, but the lantern refuses to comply no matter what I do. The guide's eyes widen as the full scope of the situation dawns on him. My two companions start nervously fidgeting and whisper about possible solutions, but I hear each one getting shot down. I look at the guide forlornly. We're completely at his mercy now, if he has any to spare at all. He coldly surveys the three of us. After silently deliberating, he narrows his eyes until there are slits in his face.
I will allow one of you to remain in my light.
That seems like a point we need to save.
That's insanity! Your staff creates more than enough light for the four of us. We could easily follow at a distance you would feel comfortable with.
Yes, but he doesn't want any large condensed groups. Which makes sense given the nature of the lake.
Someone who wants to live will share their light with no one. I will not share my light with three.
After everything that's happened, all that we've done, you're going to abandon two of us this easily? You truly are a bastard.
Look, he has a point though. You know, that's the annoying thing.
Stop. If you take so much as one wrong step towards him, all the guide will do is flee. There is no chance that fighting will end in more people surviving.
Bemele doesn't say any more, but grits his teeth.
Then, what about two? Could you please keep two of us safe?
No, it is decided.
I will allow one and no more. Two will be left behind.
Finality rings out from his words.
Lingering at a distance far behind my light will leave you vulnerable. The wisest option is to continuously move, even if it means going another way.
Right, this seems like a tough situation. I'm guessing we're gonna get three choices for a character to leave behind. And then if we're one of those, three choices for a character who can come with. And if we're left behind, then we're also gonna have choices for which way to go. So yeah, there's a lot of potential in here. Lou's eyes narrow as he observes the situation. A torrent of thoughts rip through my mind as I try to find some other way.
Chica.
My body stiffens. The guide has never referred to me by name this way. It is jarring enough to gain my attention. even amidst the panic rising.
You are the most likely to survive. The offer is for you.
My eyes widen even further. No, I don't want that. I can't be the only one who... No. No. I turn my eyes to my two companions. Both of them gaze back at me, dejected. There is horrifying resignation in their eyes. This cannot be happening. They should be going, not me. They should be the ones who remain safe.
I'm nowhere near as sharp as you are. We both always knew that.
There's a fragile, self-deprecating smile on his face. It makes my heart ache. Lou continues to only passively watch, with an unexplainable expression. I shake my head, refusing to watch them give up so easily. I turn to the guide's face one last time, begging him mentally. He is empty and unflinching.
It needs to be done. This is what it means to cross Sinnlos.
Oh, we get a cutscene. Well, I mean, not exactly a cutscene, but you know. The heavy words sink into me as I stare towards the void that eagerly awaits the two of us. Right, let's just go along with this for once. I swallow my objections. No matter how painful it is to come to terms with, we have to be pragmatic. I would have encouraged the decision if another was being spared. I can't say it is wrong now. The guide waits for a breath. When I say nothing, he takes that as compliance and nods. He then simply walks off without even a goodbye to the others.
I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything for you.
Oh, and now even in the sprite the lantern is out, and I think she looks like a bit darker because there's no more light radiating. Bemele gives me a courageous half smile.
We'll find our own way across. The shore can't be far off after all the walking we've done.
Lou gives me a quiet, calm smile and speaks
I'll
softly.
be alright. I'm glad you're going.
I wipe my face on my sleeve and compose myself.
I will wait for you on the shore.
Will you now? This goodbye can't go on for much longer. With all of us standing there... With all of us standing still without any light. I burn both their faces into my memory for reasons I don't dare think about. Then I force my shaky legs to follow after the guide. I follow behind the guide at the edges of his light. I walk listlessly, each step feeling heavier than the last. A complete sense of emptiness overwhelms me. I move along almost like a puppet on strings, trudging on hollowly as I attempt to understand what I'm even doing with myself, with my life. I harden my face and attempt to purge every thought from my mind, except for ones pertaining to bridges and how to successfully cross them. I still have to survive. I must. What they've all sacrificed cannot be for nothing, and I'm still needed. After hours of navigating the complex maze of bridges, the faint light of day creeps into view. The guide increases his pace, and I cautiously follow suit. The sun continues to rise, as does our speed along with it. The odds decrease with every step we have to take. Our persistent pays off when the silhouette of land appears on the horizon. My heart pounds at the sight. It feels unbelievable. I race across the bridges, desperately trying to keep the guide's light-edged figure in clear sight. I run as fast as I can possibly manage without slipping on the board. Wait, there we go. Oh. And now we will have to see if any of the others go. Fog drifts across the empty, stagnant waters, as menacing as when I first laid eyes on it. I can't bear to tear my eyes from the sight. It is as though reality halts as I stare deeply at the surface. I shake away the sensation. I'm alive. I've made it across, and now I will be able to unite the villagers, and remove the brigadiers, whatever. I like saying that as French, even though I hate the French. But at what cost? My mind turns over itself. Yeah, that seems kind of ironic. That by doing the thing that seemed like it would save the guide, we actually doomed more people than if we didn't. I can still faintly feel wet, rigid hands on my ankle, a ghostly reminder of the Nixie. I know the hands are not real, but that doesn't loosen their grip. I wait at the edge of the shore, looking out to the vast expanse of the lake. I stand steadfast and unable to be swayed. I refuse to move on until the light of the sun fully covers the land and the bridges disappear underneath the water. I will be here for them until the final moment. I feel that the guide is rather displeased at my continued presence. Despite getting such an impression, however, he still remains close enough for me to reside in his light. The moments tick on, and the night continues to shrink with each passing minute. I perk up when I hear something. It isn't a whisper under the surface or the rush of wind through trees. It's the sound of footsteps, I'm sure of it, and they're coming from the lake. My heart begins to pound.
We're over here.
I shout. No, you don't shout. I shout. I shout out down the bridge and wave my hands in an attempt to garner the attention of anyone who is out there, regardless of the dense fog making it impossible to see. It hardly matters, as I hope desperately that whoever is on the bridges finds their way before it's too late. The echoes of footsteps grow louder, and I can't resist the temptation. No, don't do that. Are you stupid, lady? Are you stupid, bro? Are you stupid? To head out into the unknown to meet with them moments sooner, I step out on the boards once more. My breath remains locked inside as the footsteps draw nearer still. And then, out of the mist emerges Lou. The air releases and my eyes start to brim with tears. Lou is alive. He made it. But where is Pemele? Lou stops in front of me and needs to catch his breath for a moment. I wipe my wet eyes and smile with relief.
I'm so glad to see you.
We rush off the bridges with haste, eager to put this night behind us. With that, we truly arrive on the shore. As the thrill of the moment dissipates, I have to acknowledge that he's alone. I turn my eyes back towards Sinnlos, scanning as much of the area as I can see, silently pleading for a glimpse of a sign. Oh, well, that happens, Lou notices. He stares down at the ground sorrowfully, confirming what I already feared.
I'm sorry.
The tears from earlier make their return. They spill over and stream down my face. Bemele is gone. He died out in the darkness. Or he died out in the darkness. I slowly slink backwards, away from the lake. I don't want to be anywhere near these bridges. I clench my fists together tightly. I look towards Lou again, and we lock eyes for a moment. He gives me a rather sorrowful gaze as he speaks.
I have to go. It's time for me to return home.
Oh really now, because last time I'm pretty sure you did not go home because you don't have a home. He brightens his face and smiles widely.
Thank you for saving me. It makes me happy you survived too.
His words ring with sincerity. I stand in the stillness of the moment, and I can't find the strength to stop him as he walks away, disappearing into the fog. With that, I fall down to my knees and sob loudly into my hands. Yeah, fair enough. That seems like a suitable reaction given the circumstances. How am I meant to feel? I'm so glad Lou was able to make it here. And yet it completely tears me apart knowing that the other two did not. I'm left on the ground feeling completely and utterly heartbroken. My turmoil abruptly ends at the sound of the guide's voice. Yeah, why are you silent? You can't stay. There is nothing left for you here. You must return to the world and leave this place behind. All of my words are stuck sorely in my throat. I'm completely parched and my mouth is threatening to close in on itself. He fills the silence once more.
I expect to never see you again.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now you've seen what the lake does. The guide looks at me harshly, almost pleadingly, as he gazes into my eyes. All I can offer is a slow, weak nod. I don't want this to be the way things are. I can't accept it. I'm consumed by the whirlpool of thoughts. I wasn't able to help anyone. As I continue to stare at the guide, tears well up in my eyes and threaten to spill over. He gives me no acknowledgement at all. Now he's really just like, hey, maybe it's a good idea to fuck off away from the lake of death and despair. And then that's it. Which, yeah, there's not really much more to say. I wipe the feeling from my face completely. I must continue on. I have no other choice left before me. On quaking legs, I march forward, solemnly into the forest. Without stopping or turning around, I close my eyes and murmur to myself. It's a sorrowful goodbye to all those lost to the lake who couldn't even say the word themselves.
Farewell.
With a solemn heart, urgency, working, remember the lake, alarmed guest recount, worst guards home, payment report, Margaret intelligent, Lou never reappeared, guide obscure, usual life, no Sinnlos, already told, much lost, lesson learned. Wow. Okay, so now go way earlier. Ah. Right, it's too late at that point. Ah, right, in that case... Let me just return to the main menu, start completely anew. Right, just compliment Margaret.
It's been years since the time of...
Skip.
And I
Right, we
believe
should
you.
go. Place my hand over his. Okay, pull him forward. Quickly. Kick it off. Right.
So you're staying behind?
Yes.
Seems like it.
Yes. But really...
Well,
Okay. Now let me just save.
So, I don't want to sound like...
Right then. No, wait. The whole point is that we don't turn. Let's see if this changes anything. I keep straight ahead, not making an attempt to go the direct direction. Emily seems to fumble slightly, but stays close behind me and in the light. I inwardly apologize. I come upon Margaret, who nearly runs into me in her efforts to turn around. Her face twists at the sight. I ignore her and move to face the other way. The path he came from is disappearing into the water. It's sinking.
We have to jump.
what?
Margaret holds up her hands while I grab her and spin her towards the path the guide is on.
Go! We'll catch up.
But
Bemele and I will have to jump together. He needs the light.
I practically shove her, and without further hesitation she takes the leap. She makes it just past the edge of the bridge, knees buckling as she lands, but is soon back up on her feet and holding her lantern out towards me. She beams with pride. I don't know, encourage her. I smile back and motion Margaret towards the guide. She understands the gesture, though hesitates, obvious conflict in her eyes. However, she nods and runs after him.
Here.
I offer Bemele my hand, tightening my grip on the lantern. Bemele accepts the offer, giving it a brief squeeze. A tight smile plasters itself across my face as I try to calculate the distance between our bridge and the other. Then the ground starts to shake more.
Jump!
We dash to the bridge's edge and leap. Cold air rushes past my face, winding its fingers into my hair. For an instant, I think I see something moving under the surface of the water. Then we land hard on the wooden bridge. Bemele lets out a sigh of relief as we both creakily get fully back on our feet.
Stay close. We need to run.
I'll be right behind you.
I take off, not bothering to ensure Bemele is staying true to his word. If Orpheus could learn from that, I know he'll follow. The guide's fading light bounces in the distance. A clear signal that he's still running. I focus everything I have on catching up. Slowly, we begin to close the distance. As the night wears on, our strength rapidly fades. Even my stamina is being challenged. I can't imagine what this must be like for Margaret. She's holding her side as she runs, clearly cramping from the exercise. How much longer will this last? People have to stop sometime. Almost as if in response to my thought, the guide holds. I skid to a stop as well, sliding on the surface of the wood. Bemele's voice is tired, but his guard is up. The guy doesn't answer, just stares at something slightly out of view. I step up to join him, following his gaze further down the path. It's a ginger! There, curled in a little ball, illuminated by the lantern's light, cowers a person. His hands grip his head, and he rocks from side to side, mumbling incoherently.
It's a man.
Oh my god, it's a man! Wow, this is so shocking.
Sorry.
Alright, skill issue. And then...
Leave him.
That's another choice. Now we have Margaret along with us. So now we see, like, do we try to get the largest group as possible and see what happens? Yeah. And then after that we try to leave him.
No! We can't just leave him here. We've managed fine enough already. These creatures will probably pluck him away as soon as we've gone. Without light, it's certain he'll die.
He won't make it regardless.
The guy turns to look at us, his eyes seeming to glow from the closeness of his lantern. For the first time, I feel uncomfortable in his presence.
Whoever shelters him will only risk dragging themselves down with him. Leave him.
I glance at the others. Pamela is outraged, but Margaret is staring at the man with something like fear. She's uneasy, but doesn't voice her concerns. I'm trying to think of some kind of compromise when the
If
guide
man
speaks
comes,
again.
Then whoever is shielding him will have to remain at a distance from the rest of the group. Far enough that you can't see me, just my light. That is how you will travel across the bridges. I didn't agree to lead this man, and I won't. If you ask me to, I will leave you all behind.
Adrenaline surges through my veins, and I tense up. It's a painful reminder that the guide isn't here to save our lives, but merely to show us the way. We're on our own. Margaret, Pamela, and I frantically share more looks between each other, trying to communicate without words. None of us have a desire to speak and be the first to make a choice. The man is standing now, though still hunched with his arms wrapped around himself as if expecting a blow. He stares at the ground rather than at us. Because of this, I'm having trouble reading his face. What exactly happened to him?
Are you well, stranger? Do you know where you are and why you're here?
He glances up, not at me, but towards me, his eyes resting somewhere near my collarbone.
I'm fine. You all can go on your way. Forget you even saw me here.
That's absurd. You have no way to defend yourself. We can't leave you.
Yes, I'm sure in your eyes I might not seem like much. Maybe in a perfect world, every man would be as large as you. But that's not how things always go. Doesn't mean I'm defenseless.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you die in every run where we leave you behind, so... The man's response is meandering. The words themselves seem to be in good jest, but he's still barely looking at us, fidgeting with his hands. Pamela frowns, unimpressed. Oh, whoops. It was a joke. Well, it's not really a good joke.
Part of it was supposed to be the joke. Do you even realize what is happening in this moment?
Yeah, some of this dialogue is a repeat, but because it's been a while, it's like the start of the story.
Never mind. Forget that too.
But basically everything before the first island is like early game.
Point is, I'm alright.
You were curled up in a ball when we met.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Exactly. Something must be wrong with you.
Okay, well that's a bit rude.
Oh no, sounds like you've been talking with my father.
Oh, I low-key thought you didn't have a father. You know, you were just kind of fatherless. He lets out a weak little laugh, coupled with an eyebrow raise, voice trembling. No one really knows what to make of this. The man gives a small wave and begins down the path we came. Bemele huffs, tossing his hands into the air.
That's not even the right way.
It could be if he's trying to get to the side we came from.
Oh wait, now he just leaves?
He
We
must
don't
have
even
come
get a
quite a ways
choice?
if it was the other shore that he started on.
The man's smile grows. There is no response to this remark, unsure of what could be said.
I still think he should come with us. A person needs a light, and the guide himself said he won't be able to manage on his own. Sticking with us is his best option.
I look over the man's body, noting the scrawniness of his limbs. Scrawny, but not necessarily lacking in muscle. The bravado he was showing as he tried to leave us has faded yet again. And now he's standing quietly, looking at us as if watching a play. Interest, but no true connection to the events.
It's easy for you to say such things, but whose light are you offering? It's not mine, and you are putting her in even more danger with your own presence already.
Bemele looks at Margaret. She avoids his gaze.
Perhaps I could have let him share my light before. But the guide has said the one with him has to remain behind, and I simply wouldn't be able to manage it.
Bemele's hands turn into fists. He looks away but doesn't say anything. For a moment, no one does. Alright, I feel... Wait, no, but... Okay, so Margaret goes along with the guide, but then surely Bemele could go along with that, and then we can be with Lou, right? Couldn't that work? I think it could. Why can he not leave us to make our own decisions?
You. Don't worry about me.
No, we're gonna try and take you with first time. Margaret might not be able to take him, but there's another way this could be solved. I could stay back with him. It'll put Bemele and myself at significantly more risk, but at least this man will stand a chance. Yes, come along. I straighten my arm out like a rod, blocking his progress past me. He stops, perplexed.
I am not afraid to stay behind, as long as Bemele can remain up front with you in your light.
Oh hey, yes, see? That's my ID. Margaret covers her mouth with her hand, muffling some sort of gasp. Bemele smells sadly at me.
One can always count on you, Kika.
The man, meanwhile, stands with his mouth agape, truly and genuinely shocked.
Well, what will it be?
Margaret sputters for a second, searching for words but clearly unaware of what to say. Bemele chimes in before she can get anything audible out.
I can stay in between you and the guide. I don't need to be right next to either of you. That way you won't have to worry about a repeat of what happened earlier.
I wouldn't refuse you being here.
The guide doesn't acknowledge them. He stares at the stranger. The man shakes under the attention.
No, really.
No, you
Just go on,
cannot.
Rio.
I step closer to him, lending him the support he desperately seems to need.
You do not need to go this alone. I will protect you.
The man stares at me. I return his gaze, willing him to see my certainty. Oh, look at me. I am Kika the Steadfast. Wow, I am so epic. Okay, wow, that was very dry. There need be no blood spilled tonight. Slowly the fear melts off of his face, replaced with something like resignation. Then he drops his gaze to the floor.
Okay.
All right.
I grasp his shoulder and turn to the rest of the group.
You should get a head start, correct? You'll have to put some distance between us.
No! No, we don't have to do that.
Yes, we do. Come on, just be sensible here.
Yes, we do.
There's a hint of an emotion in the guide's usually empty voice. Anger. He starts to walk, not waiting for a reply. Margaret grits her teeth, eyes filling with tears, face flushed. She mumbles something in a small voice, something I'm just near enough to hear.
Why am I always so powerless?
I don't know. Seems like a you problem. The statement catches me somewhat off guard. Margaret? Powerless? She's not a mercenary, to be sure, but she seems so certain of herself. Then again, I don't know the reason she needs to cross this lake, because it only takes a few days more to go around. Sorry, there's someone here. I'm gonna take a look what that's about. Right, now where were we? Right. Before I can decide whether I should respond, the tears fade from her eyes. Margaret takes a deep breath.
Please be careful.
No, we were intending to be reckless on the lake of death and despair. Of course we're gonna be careful. She takes a few steps back, lingering near enough for Bemele. Bemele smiles at first. First at the stranger and then at me.
Take care back here, alright? We'll all be together again when we reach the halfway island. It won't be too much longer now.
Well, I wonder how the burning scene is gonna go this time. Eh.
We'll have a nice little camp out, and you can properly introduce yourself to us. Maybe even tell a real joke or two.
The man emits a nervous little laugh and ducks his head. The prospect must not be enticing to him. With the stranger having pulled himself out of the conversation, Pemele looks seriously at me.
I'm sorry to put you in even more.
Stop.
Stop. Okay, but that was a little...
I don't begrudge you at all. In fact, I'm glad you did. All I want is for you to remember that goal. Each of us, together, on the island, and then on the other shore, safe. This isn't about what our job is, or where other people need us to be.
I nod in response. Pemele opens his mouth, then closes it. He swallows hard.
You two.
I'm surprised to hear his voice wavering slightly. He swallows again, then continues.
You two should look out for each other.
He takes a few steps back, as if to go, but his eyes don't leave mine. Margaret watches Pemele approaching her, gaze flickering from him to me. Then, suddenly, she rushes back my way. No, stay with the guide, you stupid... absolute... Oh my god. Margaret flings herself into me, wrapping me up into a hug as crushing as her small, shivering frame can muster.
Thank you for not leaving me behind either.
You're welcome. Then she pulls away, turning around without seeing my reaction. The scent of lavender hangs in the air, though I can't tell whether from her hair or her clothes.
Watch out for yourself too, not just for everyone else.
I will.
That really fits our character, yeah. Because she watches out for others most of the time. You know, even not considering the choices, it seems to be like an actual part of the character. Oh, but that's not a lantern. That's a fire. Pemele and Margaret are finally forced to leave us behind and catch up with him. I watch them disappear into the fog, an odd feeling in the pit of my stomach. I cannot recall the last time I had difficulty seeing someone leave.
You should go after them.
I start. I almost forgot the man was there, standing right next to me. Now he looks at me with desperate eyes, like a sad little puppy. Okay, sorry, yeah, that was a little cruel.
What?
I'd rather know you returned to them safe, and that you all had a chance to make it back together. The way they acted, having to go on without you, no one would feel that way for me. I'm not worth it.
That's not...
I stop, unable to say the last word. Can I claim that he's wrong? This is the one thing he has seemed sure of, and I do not know him. Empty platitudes may be worse than nothing at all. He smirks at my mumbling reply. I'm caught off guard by the change. With only that, it seems he's in his element.
It's true.
He continues to grin, more so to himself than me.
You lot certainly made a scene, huh? That's nice. Being loved and all.
He clarifies after I must have given an undesired reaction to the statement. I am so disconnected with myself. I am unsure if surprise appeared on my face or if it was a lack of emotion that put him off.
I don't know exactly what kind of love it is you share, but there has to be a bond in that group of yours. I mean, especially with the long-haired one. You wouldn't look at anyone like that.
Am I accidentally going down the romance route? Well, except if she dies, of course, then that's... He laughs and then speaks quietly. Can I please button my last shirt?
Doesn't matter. I could still try for the other shore.
I will stay. My certainty shocks him. I can tell immediately he has returned to his meeker self. The man starts to speak again, but I interrupt.
We should start walking. That should be enough of a head start for them.
I absolutely, completely, fully agree. He hesitates a moment, but ultimately begins walking at my side. I'm relieved. I can never be quite sure what will come from this one. Oh yeah, no, just hit my microphone. I mean, it's only the one for the PNG model, so it doesn't do anything on that end. Yeah, no, it doesn't help if I'm pointing when it's just a PNG, now doesn't it? And that end means the microphone used for recording voice. And there's also one on the headset, and that one's for making my PNG move. We move in silence. The man doesn't seem to want to speak anymore, but he keeps glancing at me, as if expecting something. Somehow his odd behavior is comforting rather than disconcerting. Perhaps it's because he's more nervous about all this than I am. It's putting me at ease, making me feel more capable. I shouldn't allow myself to get comfortable, however. We're in a more dangerous position than ever. The whispering from the lake, so faint after Bemley's close call, now surges forth. It grows nigh unbearable, the creature steaming below the surface. I dare not speculate on what has them so excited.
Have you a name?
The man chuckles dryly.
Barely.
I don't really know what I am to take from that.
This time his laugh is more of a bark, quickly out and swallowed back up. Then he frowns.
Lou. Only 2 letters. So barely.
I see. What are you doing out here without the guide?
Perhaps the question isn't appropriate to ask. After all, only the darkest of circumstances spurs someone to cross Sinnlos. But this situation is very strange. I might even go so far as to say it's suspicious. I know that's not fair, but I can't help it. Years spent anticipating danger have made me wary. Yet we still don't know why he wanted to cross, and what was such a rush. Well, I mean, I have a suspicion that he just, wanted to stop living. But we haven't quite gotten the confirmation that that is exactly why he went out onto the lake. And even then, it seems unlikely he would have made it past the halfway point.
That's a good question. I'm not sure I know myself.
What does that mean? Is that some sort of joke too? Or do you genuinely not remember how you arrived where you are?
No, it wasn't a joke. Or, well, there is a point to it all.
Then his voice, already by nature light and airy, drops to a whisper.
But I don't know why I even tried. You'd think that I'd be able to call a spade already, right?
He looks up, noticing my gaze still leveled at him. Then he shrugs.
I'd rather not talk about it.
As what has become the norm, I don't fully understand what he means. But I can at least guess that he's not very happy with himself at present. And like it or not, he won't be sharing his real reasons with me.
What about you? What brings you out on this little adventure?
People. On the other side. People who need my help.
You have someone waiting on you? Then why are you risking yourself on me instead of worrying about what's going to happen to them?
I feel my brows furrow from my speck of alarm. Is that really what he took from this? I survey his face with a flick of my eyes. But there is no mischievous gleam to his look now. He's serious. We hold eye contact for a moment, until he yet again stares down at the ground.
Sorry. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. It just fell out somehow. I wasn't thinking.
Well, yeah, let's be nice.
Of course I'm going to be there for those counting on me. But you aren't nothing. I won't simply turn my back on you.
Yay! He smells sadly. The kind of smell only someone who has experienced great hardship has. A smell I'm all too familiar with.
I probably have to disagree. Still, that's nice of you to say.
We may not know each other well, but you wanted us to go on without you for our own safety. You even tried to have a sense of humor about it. That counts for something.
My statement is far from grand. Yet he becomes distinctly bashful all of a sudden, twitching his legs with each step. He hangs his head and mumbles his next phrase. Sadly, he seems unaccustomed to receiving praise.
That's true. Thank you for staying back with me. It's kind of nice.
No need to thank me.
Oh, right. I can't even show gratitude correctly.
Bro.
Not co-
I go to give him a look, but he's smiling. He looks less pitiful than usual. He almost seems content. While crossing Sinnlos? How? Why?
It is not funny to make a joke out of thinking that way about yourself.
If you don't want people to say things like that, then you shouldn't reject their thanks. Either I did right by thanking you, or I did wrong.
God is there.
Fine. You're welcome.
This time he lets out a real laugh. Though a short one.
I'm glad.
He stretches his arms out in front of him and elongates his stride so he's walking a bit ahead of me. It sits right with me. He's relaxed and completely unguarded. He's even fine with distancing himself from the light and all the odd comments he has said so far. Then a thought strikes me. Maybe the reason he's so calm is that he doesn't care what happens to him. My heart plummets into my gut. For a time there is a relative peace in the silence between us. Then Lou sighs heavily.
I never could have seen myself in a situation like this. It seems things really aren't over until they're over.
Did you think it was over?
I mean, it makes sense. Like, out here, no lantern, no people. Let's be real here, no one is surviving that, even the toughest. And, well, with all due respect, he seems far from that.
Yeah, I did.
That would have been the normal outcome for his situation. Alone, lightless. I shouldn't have asked. I'm sorry. I must have let a frown slip through, because Lou smells a non-smell. He stretches his hand behind his neck and gives a little chuckle.
Something really is wrong with me. Somehow, I feel lighter.
Alright, well, maybe this is good. If he's feeling better than he was, then perhaps his view of himself will improve as well.
I wonder who'll still be left standing when this is truly all over.
What?
Everyone will be.
I say it firmly to end the discussion, but Lou's expression grows grave and unusually sympathetic.
You know that's not possible, don't you? Someone will go. You should focus on making sure it's someone else.
Yeah, that's why we're carrying you along with us, so we can sacrifice you later. I mean, I didn't... Oh shit, that was an inside line.
You don't seem to be concerned with self-preservation.
That came out more hostile than I had expected. He doesn't mind it.
True, but it's not the same for me.
I still don't know how I'm supposed to interact with a person like him. Making conversation is already not a strength I possess. Regardless, Lou echoing that sentiment was not something I had expected. The whispers from the lake, which had already grown, now speak faster and clearer. The individual words are almost audible. I'd likely be able to make them out if I knew the Nyx language. For a split second, I wish I did. The light in the distance still drifts along in the same manner as it did when we first started walking, which I take to mean the path hasn't turned so far. Hopefully that means we're still on the right path. But the light, it got brighter. It's strong enough that I have to glance away for a second, and the next time I look, the light has grown. The bridge is on fire. I grab Lou's arm without thinking. He's standing there, stiff, staring at the glow, eyes dull.
We're going to run.
To hell with the guide's orders. If we don't go now, we will never go anywhere again. Lou doesn't respond. I give his arm a small tug, and he appears to come to himself when he nods at me. I make the decision, then, that I won't let go of his arm. I don't know what will happen to him if I do. We take off, the heat growing with each step. The dankness of the bridge means the fire is spreading slowly, but it makes me question how it began in the first place. There is no end to how wrong this place is. It takes 20 paces before the air around us ripples, then starts folding into itself. Thick smoke pours over us, stinging like scorpions at my eyes. I cover my mouth with my free arm to keep breathing, and soon we're at the fire itself. The bridge lurches beneath us, as if the beams supporting it are starting to give way to the thousands of flying sparks. Lou stumbles and pulls against me for support, but we keep our ground. I start pulling him through the blaze. We don't have time to gather our bearings. Who knows how long we have until the bridge collapses or is devoured by flames. As we push through the smoke, Lou, wheezing for breath beside me, figures emerge. Bemel and Margaret. Oh damn, that's a really cool shot. I look at the two and the situation around them, baffled. None of the individual pieces make any sense until the reality of it hits me all at once. The guide is gone. Margaret paused at the bridge. Her lantern is at her side. It's her glasses she's missing. Bemel is off to the other side, lanternless, with only the flickering embers in the wind to keep him out of darkness. I want to pretend that they're both fine, that they'll be capable of handling themselves, but I know that's just wishful thinking. Both of them are in danger. I don't know how the Nixie feel about fire, how daring they'll be with it so close by, but I can't assume this is an opportunity they would want to miss. I have to do something, and I have to do it now. And that is save the game. Without wasting another second, I run to Margaret's side, Lou in tow. I'm the one who put her in danger, and she needs me. I have to be there for her.
Margaret!
Margaret's head shoots up, eyes squinting through the smoke. Tears like ribbons gleam down her face. Whether they're because of smoke or panic, I don't know. Janeway, though, if you have glasses, then what the fuck are you doing on this lake? Like, be so for real. I'm nearly at her side when a shout goes up from the other end of the bridge. A chunk of the bridge near Bemele has vanished, collapsed into the water, and in its place are Nixie trying to crawl their way up. Bemele is backing away from them, but that's only pushing him closer to the other edge. I check on Margaret again. She's on her feet and heading over to me, but she's standing now and she has her lantern to keep those monsters at bay. I leave her, running to get my light to Bemele. Bemele stopped in the perfect center of the bridge, unable now to move forward or back. Instead, he turns to me, face painted in a way I've never seen from him. All he can do is wait for me to come and hope it's soon enough. But as I approach, so does a Nyx. A Nyx larger than I knew they could be. It pulls itself halfway out of the water, reaching for Bemele, and it grabs him. It latches its arms around his torso. Bemele lets out an agonized scream, the Nyx's claws anchoring into his flesh, and the creature lets itself fall into the lake, using its body weight to take Bemele with it. I run faster, reaching my lantern out to him. Bemele doesn't reach back. He just looks at me.
Don't!
He falls backwards into the lake. The Nyx's weight too much for him to resist. After a moment, the water stills. There's no sign of him, not even a bubble. Wow. I stop, panting, still feet away from where Bemele fell. Or Bemele. Bemele, it's 3 syllables, bro. Tears burn my eyes.
No, he can't be gone.
Look, I know it's very tragic, but we have like different priorities at this moment, which is getting the fuck out of there. If you paid attention. Something tugs on my arm. I panic, but it's Margaret. I gape at her. I can barely keep myself together. So like what, you're just like standing there, like a shocked expression.
What happened to the guide? Is he also?
My voice cracks in spite of myself. I don't know that I want to hear the answer, but it has to be said.
No, I don't think so. I couldn't see through the smoke and without my glasses, but I didn't hear anything.
How did this happen?
While we were running through the fire, the bridge shook. It knocked my glasses off. I bent down to pick them up. There were footsteps. Someone kept going, and then Bemele asked if I was all right.
Tears return to her, and she wipes her nose on her sleeve.
He said he'd stay to keep watch while I couldn't see.
That sounds like Bemele.
I'm so sorry.
She tentatively touches my arm, wanting to help me but not knowing how. I don't say anything in response. I can't. The bridge trembles again, and I gather my wits just enough to get through this.
We need to leave. Which way did the guide go?
It sounded like he just went forward, and then I couldn't hear him anymore.
That will work. Lou?
I look around for him, realizing he's not with me any longer. At some point, I let go of his arm. Okay, so this is what happens when you try to save everyone. Noted. Sort of expected, to be honest, but still. He's standing to the side, gaze glazed, transfixed on the darkness. He seems completely unaware of everything that's happened. The fire, the Nixie, and the death. I step forward and yank him back to my side. Wake up!
What are you doing?
He flinches at the unexpected contact and looks attentively at me, but he doesn't offer an explanation.
I'm sorry.
That is all he ever says. I let go of him.
Both of you stay close. We are not going to separate again.
We keep going down the path, the flames still gradually gnawing on the planks behind us. The guide doesn't turn up, nor do any signs of him, but we push on. We will not stop moving. Then we do. The bridge comes to a dead end of rotted out boards collapsed into the lake. For a moment our breathing stops at once. If this was the way that led to the island, then... I flip back to face the others, my expression unaffected. I'm not going to allow panic to sap this group of judgment.
Let's look for another branch.
I resolutely begin retracing our path. The others follow without protest, because, they literally don't have any other option. Our regression is silent, except for footfalls and the snapping of soggy wood attempting to burn. We frequently have to step over smoldering sections trying to come alight. At one point we even have to walk one at a time, sideways, to avoid a wildly flickering small fire billowing out black smoke. Just as my spirit is beginning to dim, we come across different directions to take. Among all the forks, there are only 2 that aren't collapsed or too concerned by fire to risk following.
We're lost.
Her voice is scarcely more than a whisper. I can barely make it out over the sound of the crackling flames and splintering wood. Lou's gaze is flicking down either path. There's a palpable sense of anxiety coming through him.
I don't know. I don't know which way.
Well, that's not good.
It's alright.
But it's not alright. We have to have something to go off. Anything at all. A cold sweat trickles its way down my back. Before anyone tries to randomly choose, a noise catches my attention. I hastily address the 2.
Did you hear that?
It sounded like a whistle.
It came from the right.
Lou and I trade looks. This could be the signal we need, but what if it isn't?
Those monsters know how to whistle.
Do we have any better options?
I would assume not, but
We should go right, I think. To where the sound came from.
I'm a little surprised Lou is offering his own opinion. It is good to hear, however. I take a deep breath.
I agree. There's more of a chance the whistle was a sign for good over ill.
Our course decided, we move as one down the right path, no longer hesitating. As we follow the bridge down, there is no sign of the end. There's no need to debate between the directions again. We start to outpace the fire, one danger thankfully fading away, but the night continues to lighten regardless. I glance at the sky and realize what's happening. The sun is rising. The bridges will sink into the waters as the darkness disappears and takes us with them. Will we lost? It suddenly seems pointless. We don't even know whether we've gone the right way. But we still haven't caught up to the guide. We can't outswim the Nixie. And we can't outrun the dawn. We're going to run out of time. Yet we keep moving forward. And finally, our perseverance is rewarded. The silhouette of an island rises in the distance. The island grows rapidly larger, and soon the sense of earth and trees reaches. In spite of all the horrors of this night, a dock emerges from the fog before us, welcoming us to safety. We reach the shore. I don't believe it until I've stepped up the wood and my boot sinks into the sand. I walk further inland like a corpse, my sole instinct to flee from the waterline. My hazy eyes single in on something ahead. The guide stands on an outcropping in the distance, watching like a sentinel. He doesn't even come to greet us. I stare at him for a moment, not even able to feel alarmed at my own lack of feelings about the situation. He uses his staff to gesture to the forest behind him before disappearing between the trees. I can only assume he must be asking me to follow. The guide takes us further inland, more towards the center. There's a view of the coastline from here, but they're also partially obscured by a few trees.
It's time to sleep.
No one has the energy to argue with him at this moment. So yeah, let's see. Best case scenario, 3 of us make it to the first island, and 2 make it to the end. And there truly is no way to save anyone. Or, no, I think you can save anyone, but not everyone. Well, well. I find a place as comfortable as one could ask for in a location like this. Next one. Let me just save because that's like a good halfway point. For once, exhaustion is my ally, and I slip off into sleep. My eyes slowly blink open and readjust to the brightness. What little there is. The sun is obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbows, and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but that isn't the only reason I am eager to get on my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, Margaret and Lou are still fast asleep. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize that I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. There's a creeping silence here. I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent. I shift my weight back and forth, unsure of what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. I notice the others begin to stir. Margaret accidentally knocks Lou as she gets up, awakening him as well. My mouth opens, then shuts, then, after a moment of fumbling, a word finally escapes.
Hello.
Hello to you.
Margaret greets me as she rubs her eyes. It seems to be due to trouble adjusting to not having her glasses rather than grogginess. Behind her, Lou remains on the ground.
We should eat something soon. I don't trust what is on this island, so I'll have to split my supplies with Lou.
I admit, for a trip of this length, I could only manage to carry the minimum, so I don't have much to share. However, you shouldn't be the only one who gives something up.
Don't worry about me. I'm fine. I'm not hungry.
Yeah, okay, but you still need to eat. Lou's back is turned against us. He still hasn't gotten up out of the dirt.
You won't make it very far if you don't have something to eat.
Lou buries his head deeper into his knees as he curls into a tighter ball.
No thanks.
I wonder when the last time he ate even was. Considering where we found him, he could have been out over Sinnlos for more than a day. Yet, he has nothing with him.
That's quite an astute observation.
I'm concerned about that as well. But I know it can be difficult to force yourself to eat after something traumatic. And I'm afraid I'm not very skilled at encouraging others.
There's a stinging sensation inside of me. This was not something I ever needed to do. Because he was there. The melee, of course. Like, as you could see in one of the endings, he's the one that is actually... Well, I mean, I don't want to use that word, but I can't really think of anything else. The cheerleader of the group. Margaret and I both frown. A distinct rustling of the leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears, emerging from the thicket. Margaret seems to be a little uncomfortable at his return. Lou doesn't notice the return or the discomfort. The guide nears us and begins to speak.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious. Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It would be wise to meet me here before nightfall.
And just what needs to be done over in those woods that cannot be done in the brush here with the rest of us?
Damn. He's just like, bye bye. Despite Margaret's pointed question, the guide considers his piece here finished. He turns around and returns to the forested area from which he came. Beside me, Margaret releases a sigh.
Are you alright?
No, I'm not. Nothing is alright. And it will never get any better.
Yes, very sad. Anyway, Margaret sucks in a breath as she starts to get emotional. Before it can spill out of her, she turns on her heels and walks off in a direction different than the guide's. I don't try to stop her. Lou meekly calls to me. I turn around to face him, though I don't speak. He's standing some distance away. He fidgets and glances over at the side, before turning his gaze to my eyes. He gestures for me to come closer. I comply. He begins to whisper at me, but he fumbles with his words and I can't make out anything he says. I look at him inquisitively. Finally, hello, meow, 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 meow. Okay, you know, like if you want more attention, you're gonna have to jump up. Finally, he speaks up enough to be clear.
I'm sorry for what happened last night.
He speaks quickly as he looks up at me, eyes filled with sorrow. He shifts his focus downwards.
You would have been better off without me.
It's not your fault.
My words come out hollow and empty. I mean what I say, but cannot find the energy to make it seem convincing.
It was closer to being my fault than anyone else's. I wasn't supposed to be here, and all I did was get in the way. The guide was right about me. I knew from the beginning that it would be like this too. I never should have stayed.
Finishing his thought, he sniffles as he turns away. Suddenly, I feel a strong surge of emotion trip through me. Everything is falling apart, and I do not have the power to change this. Quietly, I speak. Yeah, let's focus on Margaret. Lou continues walking away from me, but I do catch him flinch at the statement. I assume that he heard me, though he decided it was best not to acknowledge it. I look away from him as he retreats. Lingering for only a moment, I start following the trail Margaret took. I catch up with Margaret and notice her eyes are glistening with tears. As I try to move closer, she turns on me sharply.
What do you want?
I take a step back and keep my voice low.
I was worried.
Well, there certainly is a lot to be worried about.
I can tell she does not appreciate my concern, but that's only to be expected. I've seen people react to grief and death in dozens of different ways. She has every reason to be upset sitting on an island surrounded by a lake that breeds death.
I promise I will do everything I can to make sure you survive through the next night. So,
That's not the problem.
Her words begin strong, but falter and soften as she speaks. I can only watch her without the slightest idea of what to do. Margaret sits atop a large mass of roots and covers her face with her hands. I step over to her and kneel down so that I can be at eye level again.
Margaret?
She twists her body away from me.
Leave me alone.
No, I will not leave you.
Margaret huffs, looking my way again only to properly glare.
Do you even know why I came out here? It wasn't as though I had anywhere important to be.
Then, why? Why would you
Oh, we're
risk
finally
this
gonna
journey?
find out.
Surely you already know the heart of my distress. Haven't you ever considered what you would do if you weren't able to be a guard?
She makes a point too good to dismiss, and I inwardly flinch when I consider it.
Yes. I originally sought this path not because I wished to protect others, but because I was concerned for my own self.
I don't blame you. If I had your coordination and ability, I would have learned to fight as well. As it stands, I cannot change what I am. The settlement I come from is small, barely staving off collapse, really. The same as your town. You don't have to tell me which it is. They are all that way. My only real skill is the knowledge I've worked so hard to obtain. But, of course, a tiny village full of starving hunter-gatherers doesn't have much use for someone well-versed in history or management theories. Even if there are positions that require such knowledge, they are always given to those who are far older than myself. So what am I supposed to do? Continue to barely survive by being one of many seamstresses? Keep being pushed around by any person more powerful or with higher social connections? Leaving there would only take me back to the same position. It won't ever change that way.
My heart aches as I kneel beside her. Yeah, like this one's very unique. Watching her shuddering form, I feel helpless. But what can I do? These problems are much different from what I have dealt with. Eventually, Margaret seems to pull herself together.
No. I was tired of accepting those options. Sinnlos was my only chance. Only now do I realize how ridiculous a notion that is. Anyone who comes to this lake with a sense of hope will surely have it crushed.
Are you saying you wanted to become a guide?
Yes. Laugh at my ambition if you wish. People may fear the current guide, and may even blame him for the people he cannot save. But at least he has respect. Not only that, the heads of the area give him enough support to live a comfortable life. From all I'd gathered about the lake, being strong or good with a weapon didn't matter a lick. The most important qualities for a guide were being observant and shrewd, and being able to look past the struggles of someone else. But how wrong I was.
Her voice rises.
I haven't the slightest ability to deal with sinking bridges and confrontations with those horrible monsters. And even though I thought I'd lost all ability to care about the troubles of others, I still feel awful about what happened earlier. I haven't a chance of making it as a guide, which means I have no hope anywhere.
Yeah, that seems very... Of course, has to be multiple. What's the saying? When it rains, it pours. Yeah. So multiple interruptions. So just being allowed to stream in peace for a bit. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. Margaret being depresso espresso because she can't be a guide and her skills aren't wanted. Yeah, and there's my cat on the desk again. She covers her face once more and resumes her cries. Hesitantly, I reach out and place my hand on her shoulder. Surprisingly, she doesn't shake it off. Shake it off. We sit quietly like that for several moments.
You don't have to be a guide. Once this is over, you never have to come back here. There has to be something else out there for you. And if something does not yet exist, then we can create it ourselves.
Margaret chortles a bit.
What a silly idea. But if I did have to choose between returning to the normal world or staying here, I'd rather go back home.
Yeah, fair enough. I squeeze her shoulder, and she at last looks up at me, the tears gone from her eyes. No, it is quite funny because it means that she had no urgency. And that's just wow. Because that's why someone had to die.
Thank you for sharing this with me.
Thank you for listening. You have an unexpectedly soft heart.
She must have noticed the slight twinge in my face.
That isn't a bad thing, Kika.
I look away, eyes towards the ground.
I know it can hurt to care, but it also lets you lessen the pain of others. I think it would be much better if everyone cared a little bit more, rather than less.
I feel tears forming in my eyes now, as I smile back at Margaret.
Thank you.
Margaret returns my look. I take a seat on the roots beside her, and for a time we sit in silence, simply being there for one another. Eventually, I turn towards her.
Perhaps we should go check how everything is on the island.
Margaret nods.
That seems like a fair thing to do. We can't keep sitting here forever, unfortunately. I'll come with you.
Are you sure you'll be alright without your glasses? There are a lot of places to catch your foot or dress on.
Margaret laughs lightly.
I'm sure I'll be fine.
She sighs softly and chides me teasingly. Okay, I think we made a good choice here.
Really, you are too much.
She then accepts. Together we head towards the interior of the island. Margaret and I head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but we managed to pick our way through the bush quite well. Though a thinner stand of trees, through a thinner stand of trees, we briefly catch sight of the guide standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, but even though I'm sure he turned his head towards me, he makes no show of acknowledging us. We scour the area for Lou. I think this is the first time I've seen a semicolon in this game. It doesn't take us long to find him. He appears to be alright, though still strange. I calmly greet him as we approach.
Hello. Is everything alright here?
He turns towards us and blinks, like he's waking from a sleep. It seems as though he didn't even notice us until now. He looks away once more and smells bitterly to himself.
Everything's pretty much how I expected. Make of that what you will.
I frown at his response, but I try not to let it bother me too much. This seems to simply be Lou's way.
At least it isn't worse than you expected.
Lou doesn't respond to Margaret. I decide to change the subject, maybe for
Are
the
you
best.
ready to eat, Lou?
That comma is doing a lot of work. Lou pauses for a moment to consider this.
Okay. If you leave something for me, I'll eat it soon.
Why do we have to leave?
I eye Lou suspiciously. He chuckles.
I don't need you two to stand and watch me. I'd feel more comfortable eating alone.
I have to agree with Kika. You refused to eat before, and now you claim you'll only eat if no one else is around to see it happen?
If that's the case, I'll just say I won't eat again. Then there will be nothing to be suspicious over.
Lou, you motherfucker. Both of us sigh, exasperated over his dismissive attitude. Lou snickers to himself. I take no relief in the fact that someone is finding this amusing.
Either way, we shouldn't leave anyone alone anymore. We've all had enough time to ourselves to think. Now we should focus on staying safe and being prepared for the coming night.
Lou bites his lip, hunching his shoulders up to his neck as he eyes Margaret sourly. It might be an intimidating look if it was from someone else. As it is, Lou looks like a thoroughly annoyed child.
I'm not interested. There's something I'm still not finished with.
We could come with you.
Lou tries to duck further into his own body. He is clearly wishing he could stop being the center of attention. Margaret huffs, losing even more of her already thinned patience over Lou's lack of maturity on this matter.
Will you come back to find us once you're finished with your mystery task?
You can find me later, if you like. You don't need to be so worried.
Margaret and I exchanged glances with one another. She seems almost guilty now. Perhaps she re-evaluated the situation and feels like this might be unnecessarily demanding. This seems like another save point. Oh my god, we are... well, I think like the third stream will mostly just be achievement hunting, so this will just be following guides anyway, pun not intended. Okay, let's say that. Look, we can change it anyway. You know, there's plenty of runs. Lou scrunches his eyes almost shut, but I can still detect his slivered stare boring into an unfortunate patch of ground. Despite his calm surface, I can feel the tumultuous emotions churning deep beneath. I hate upsetting him like this, but our lives are on the line. It would be a reckless gamble to leave him be simply because he would prefer being alone.
Yes, right. But you're still free to do as you please, you know. Just because we'll be around doesn't mean we'll be ogling you the entire time.
Almost imperceptibly, he sighs out a long, wavering breath. Whatever emotions he was experiencing just below the surface slipped back into the side. I need to... Right, after I get to like one of the endings here, I think it's a good idea to end stream, because I'm losing my focus a bit, and the interruptions also didn't help. Just below the surface, slip back to the depths.
Never mind. It wasn't important.
I have a hard time believing him. However, I'm simply relieved that he's finally willing to let us stay.
Well, since you don't have anything else to do now, you really ought to eat.
Have you eaten?
Yes, we had a meal together after you went off on your own. You have no excuse.
I'm not hungry. That's sort of a reason.
I resist the nagging urge to rub the bridge of my nose out of frustration. I don't want to offend Lou or be too forceful. I need to remember where we are. It is already a very difficult situation, and it's possible he's been through far worse than what I am aware of.
Will you at least take some food to keep with you?
As Lou tends to do, he wraps his arms around himself more tightly, mumbling words I can't pick out before finally answering audibly.
Fine.
Good.
I pull out and offer him one of my hide and sinew stitched pouches, filled with dried salted meats and some sweet roots. Lou finally uncrosses his arms and lowers his knees, which eases my fears a bit about him being stiff as a statue come nightfall. As he reaches for it, he refuses to meet my eyes, and once he has the pouch, he immediately scoots away from me. He resumes his closed-off position. Margaret observes Lou with disbelief, accidentally letting out a tusk as he curls up away from me. She seems to be as baffled by Lou's mood as I am.
We should go back to the forest clearing instead of staying so nearby the lake.
Certainly.
Fine.
Lou and I trail after Margaret. I consciously slow my steps to keep pace with Lou's distracted wandering as we head back into the woods. After a bit of tromping through the thicket, we come into a sizable clearing.
We might as well rest here. There will be plenty of time for walking come nightfall.
Lou sits down wordlessly and sulks. He turns his body pointedly to the side, facing away from us. Margaret takes a seat nearby, smiling awkwardly. I sit roughly halfway between them, attempting to form a connected group.
Well,
Margaret starts, but doesn't say much more. She would like to start up a conversation, but isn't sure how. Honestly, I have no idea how to either. The subjects I am comfortable taking the lead with are limited, to say the least. An uncomfortable silence permeates the air for a time. Even an outsider could tell the mood is in the depths. Neither of us wants to make it worse, and it is a challenge to figure out what might go over well with Lou. We don't know anything about him, but asking personal questions would almost certainly be unwelcome. Lou stares off, sighing about something. He still isn't even looking at us.
Lou.
What?
Margaret pauses. She didn't think this through, it seems. She fumbles with her words.
What's been on your mind as of late?
Nothing.
Ah, that's not good. If there isn't anything in there, it might blow away with the wind.
That's an interesting statement. Lou raises his eyes to give her a flat look. She laughs nervously, almost doubling over backwards from the force of one of her guffaws.
I heard someone say that once.
I jump in before another silence can form, sensing a call for backup of a different sort than I'm used to.
Yes, you should keep your spirits high. Being downcast is akin to a dog whistle for trouble. It only makes the situation that much worse. Or so I've heard someone say.
Oh, absolutely.
Margaret agrees with me, though still sounding a tad awkward. She gestures with her hand towards me.
I've also heard that you breathe out a small piece of your soul with each sigh, so it's even more tragic.
Lou finally begins to smirk a little.
Are you making those up?
Margaret seems encouraged by his mood
I
shift.
haven't made anything up yet, but I'm positive that I could, and you'd be none the wiser. It can be quite ridiculous.
His half smirk grows to a full one. He sits himself into a more upright position to be better engaged with the two of us.
I can believe that.
As Lou slowly begins to uncoil, so that's the OIL where it's like within a syllable. That's such an annoying one. And begins to uncoil from within himself. I can't help but smile. Finally, the mood is starting to lift. We've all been lost in a haze of the mind for too long.
Are there any peculiar sayings that you've heard of?
none that are comparable to yours.
He appears to be disappointed, though not surprised that he could not offer an addition of his own to the topic.
Then you have heard some. I'd like you to share them, especially if they're different. I could use some better sayings. The ones I have aren't so impressive, as you've learned.
Are you trying to make me lose my soul? I wouldn't blame you.
I wish I knew how to amuse Lou as much as he seems to entertain himself. Despite his jokes always needing to be so self-mocking. Refusing to let the mood crumble, Margaret puts on a pleasant face and tries to move past Lou's comment.
Not at all. I'm only curious.
No matter the journey you take, it will always end where it began. I hear that one often.
Margaret smiles, pleased with his participation.
That's an interesting one. Much better than the one that says, you'll have one unfortunate incident for every curl in your hair.
Yeah, no, especially with you, given your hair.
Really?
Lou looks over her, confused and slightly wary.
No, I did make that one up.
Lou laughs. He starts to open up and share some of the other sayings he's heard. Amongst this stream of chatter, Margaret catches my attention. She looks into my eyes and mouths the words, "Thank you." Gaze back. I catch Margaret's eyes, and we spend a moment sharing a gentle connection. Yuri. Sorry, that's... Okay. I am so amused with myself, wow. Anyway, for a brief moment, all of the troublesome circumstances seem to float away from our minds, and we enjoy each other's company. I wish it could go on for so much longer, but it's only well later that I have to speak up.
We should make our way to the meeting point now.
Margaret nods in agreement. Lou shrugs. I lead us over to the area where the guide mentioned we were going to meet. Margaret and I sit together. She lightly rests her head against my shoulder. The three of us quietly wait for the guide's arrival, occasionally chatting with one another as we rest. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the color seems to drain from the world, being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
I nod and feel myself grow tense. We truly are about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one, forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, prepared for tonight's journey. And yet, the way forward does not appear. The bridges haven't risen from the depths. I glance to my side. The guide doesn't look at all pleased. The corners of his mouth has a harsh bend as he briefly loses himself to heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
He doesn't offer an explanation for why, but he's explaining worry, Margaret's and Lou's unsure footsteps. The four of us, lap water, staff, knuckles wide, bridges late.
Are late.
Then we fail. Do you believe we'll have enough time to
Time
cross?
is by far the least of our worries.
Right, so we're trapped.
More importantly, the
Bridges
bridges
are raised above the water,
Not
so...
all will be as dangerous.
Pit forms that stare at him. Right, big problem.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
The guide closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then. Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that's always so
I will
dangerous.
not be kept on this island for another. If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make...
If you were staying by the shore, perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you. And then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
Oh, but now we can't fight along with the melee, so that could be an
I'd
issue.
say that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
Fine.
Well, there will probably be a choice shortly after. I take my place in the middle of the shore, while Margaret and Lou hover closer to the island's core between the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. Oh, sorry. It's like normally when you're in a more sort of active game, you have your hand rest, but your mouse is constantly moving. So you don't have like that slowly just collapses and the weight presses the right key. But with this, I noticed that kind of does happen, because you have to be consciously preventing that. Whereas with more active games, it happens naturally. Or more like, you know, like you prevent any clicks simply by playing. At first I think I'm being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots, dark globes, eyes. Some nicks pop up and down. But they're gonna get closer. Gurgling and then turning high-pitched as they seem to take full stock of us. The lights in their eyes somehow seem brighter as the first of the Nixie dig their claws into the sand and begin dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backwards towards the sound, only to be greeted by coal-black darkness. I crowd desperately into the void where Margaret and Lou stood. There's silence. Then so are they in the trees?
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to drive it away, but now it's gone. Shattered.
I swerve my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before I sprint over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Oh, Margaret, really? Can't even hold onto a lantern? Lou stands nearby. He avoids eye contact by awkwardly looking away as I approach the two closer.
We can make a small fire for light.
Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now. But what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
We will manage.
I speak firmly, trying to assure her. I can't even guess how effective the attempt was.
Lou, please, clear some space while I gather kindling.
Lou looks startled at suddenly being addressed, but quickly nods and gets to work, pushing away the leaves on the small patch of dirt. Margaret moves to help him, though she still looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't. I mean, it's kind of sort of was, you know? We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edgy. Yeah, with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Margaret stokes the fire with Lou looking on. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
Right.
I force myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
Margaret attempts to smile at me. Lou views her empty expression for a moment, before turning to move towards a nearby tree. He easily scales it. Absolutely puzzled, Margaret and I watch each movement as he lifts himself into its branches.
I figured there's not much of a chance any Nixie will get a hold of me here. They won't climb.
And then they suddenly do. His voice is light-hearted with an easy confidence.
Well, I won't bother trying to argue with that logic.
Margaret has shaken off some of her sorrow, being in a better mood now. I smile to myself. I'd like to believe that Lou will truly be safe from those predatory creatures this way. With the two of them doing as well as they can be, I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore. As we feared, this has become a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the water, so my attention was on those two. They surrounded the guides on both sides. So then we get the same thing probably, like yeet the lantern or keep the lantern. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island, yet the guide shows no signs of giving up his position. He remains where he is, resolving to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seemed impervious to the dangers of Sinnlos. This is the first case where I can't tell whether he will continue to be fine as always or not. It's a distressing notion. As they creep ever closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important.
He doesn't face me, but replies.
I cannot do that. Nixie recognized signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
I grip my lantern tighter as I swallow hard. Yeah, see, like first we had the melee to fight along with us. But now we really need our lantern with us to have any sort of hope. As if to answer my own questions seems plausible, but if I do lose the lantern, especially after Margaret lost hers only moments ago, then yeah, we have to wait here. I can't act rashly here. The guide has managed through every situation we've been through, as well as countless others we did not bear witness to. I resolve to continue with what we've planned and keep my position. Without flinching, the guide keeps hold of our position on the waterline. I periodically switch between watching him, the others, and the rest of the shore. And then the guide is hurt in the leg. And yeah.
Hey,
I and those creatures motionlessly watch for what he will do. His finger curls tightly around the upper half of his whatever. With great effort, he begins to rise to his unstable feet. The moment he is fully upright, the guide aggressively swings his lantern at the encroaching Nixie. He catches them completely off guard, and they scatter to rejoin the rest in the black depths. The guide crumples back into the sand unceremoniously. I can hear his ragged breaths as he regains his composure. He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it closer around himself. Covers up a dark, growing stain. Okay, he's bleeding. And let's see. Right. Do we have some special dialogue? The bridge is up. We have to leave. The guide is able to, however. Yeah. Okay. So we.
Come on!
We don't really have much of anything else to do. So we just gotta rush. Oh, damn. She's advancing towards me, holding onto a heavy stick with the end set on fire as a makeshift torch. The sight is striking.
It won't last long! We need to get through now!
She needs not say any more. The three of us push our way forward. As we advance, Margaret relays her
I'll toss the
plan.
branch when we get close. The smoke spewing off this thing is making it even harder to see than usual. So you tell me when it's time, Kika.
I can do that.
The shore approaches closer and closer, and every single one of the Nixie turn their attention towards a small group. Now, after alerting Margaret, she gives her all to hurl the flame ahead of us while avoiding setting the bridge itself on fire. The monsters flee from the torch, a path is clear. We waste not one moment sprinting towards the bridges. And now we're on the bridge. With the others near my side, I amble back into the maze. We don't stop until there is a considerable distance between us and the shore. It is there that we encounter the guide. Upon seeing his figure, I hide a sigh of relief. We haven't been left behind. Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything, instead allowing all of us to catch our breath. Lou looks as though his legs might fall out from underneath him.
Normally, I wouldn't ever say anyone on
Yeah, but we are. And then Margaret.
I don't know how we managed to do nothing wrong. That feels far more fitting for this journey.
Yeah, don't worry. The night is still young. We can still lose 1 or 2 or 3 or all. Wait, no, 3 is all in this case. No, wait, it's right, because the guide is also like a separate person. We treasure the moment of triumph for a little more before the guide ends his silence.
We need to start walking. We've already
Yes.
lost.
Right. And
Are
then
you alright? Is there any...
he gets a potion.
I tended to it myself.
So was yes.
Are you...
Can't stay here. Can you
Not
walk?
like that.
Not like this. So he come
I
on.
have,
Pick out your drugs.
Drinking this will numb the...
Okay, and then
Is that safe? It must cause drowsiness or have some kind of
I
impact
think
on
like
you.
the state of the leg is
Not
the
to
least of the
mention,
worries.
pushing your leg so hard when it's in that state could permanently ruin it.
He regards me as his lip twists partway into a snarl.
My leg isn't broken. It will heal without issue once I'm able to treat it. In order for that to happen, however, I need to live.
Yeah, that does make a whole lot of sense, wouldn't you say? I flinch slightly. You wouldn't usually snap at such a question.
That is good. I'm still not clear on what the side effects are. We must be prepared for whatever may come.
It can slow reflexes and cloud the mind.
I look at him nervously. I'm not at all comfortable with the sound of that. Margaret quietly gasps, bringing a hand to her mouth. Lou gazes on with an empty expression on his face. The guide heaves another sigh, though the pain in it makes it sound more akin to a groan. He is still impatient with the group's delays as time marches on.
I will only be taking half a dose. It won't ease all of the pain.
Yes, okay, cool.
However,
Half a
it will reduce
dose.
the odds that I will be notably impacted by any
Right, if good enough.
adverse effects.
So like, we don't even have many
I know how
choices
you
here.
feel about others coming close to you. But is that truly the best solution to a situation like this? You need to be clear-headed here.
Margaret looks at the bottle and then at him
I
skeptically.
can't walk without it.
One of us could help support you. Even if you worry over another person being nearby, putting up with that seems more reasonable than losing sense of what's going on around you.
Okay, so we do get a choice. Or
Still
not.
discussing.
Never mind. Yeah, you know, like Bemele, of course, could take the potion by force, but here, you know, you're not doing much. After a brief pocket of time, the guide's labored breathing steadies, and he slowly pulls himself up onto his feet with his staff as leverage. Despite stumbling slightly and trying to get up, the spike in energy he receives from the medicine is noticeable. Finally, he addresses Margaret's point.
The odds of making a mistake with my reflexes dulled is far lower than the odds of something going wrong with one person holding up another who can't even stand on their own. If the bridges start to sink, if we're attacked, if one simply misplaces their footing and slips, both people will likely go down together and never get back up. And as I've stated, we've lost a great deal of time. No one could carry my weight without being slowed down. Now we must begin the journey again if we wish to reach the other side.
He states this firmly before turning his back to the group and walking away. Margaret purses her lips tightly and looks at the guide's retreating form rather unpleasantly. Still, she makes no further attempt to argue. Yeah, I mean, it's already drunk. It's already been decided. We can do nothing but follow. I can still see it. No, we're not gonna do that because that will just lead us to our death. Well, actually, yeah, let's do that. Just so we can get the ending with everything else.
Might as well. Since he needs to stand on his own 2 feet, we have to make certain he won't suddenly keel over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we get some extra dialogue, and then we're gonna get dialogue. Usual to take suggestions. Pain is pain. Alright, steps improving. Alright. I would like to go last.
I think I could go first.
Margaret gives him a weak smile of appreciation. With the order decided, we make our way across. First Lou, then me, then Margaret. And the bridge starts to... Okay, so this happens basically in the same way.
We need to focus on
Alright. Luke goes by himself. And again, we're gonna... I mean... We're gonna lose anyway because... The drugs. There we go. Send Lou forward. And then he will fall. And it's basically the same except a different name. And then... Oh yeah, but this time there's not even an arm coming up. Okay. There's nothing happens. And then we just move.
You cannot stay there.
I count my breaths. Margaret can't move. Okay. Now with only 2 sets, it's not as difficult than the other side. No matter how many times I state it in my head, I'm not able to make myself accept it. We were all here just a moment ago, and yet now, how could this have happened?
Forget what you saw.
Sure. Keep moving. She's sobbing quietly into my shoulder. I can hear her faintly whispering apologies over and over, like a heartbroken mantra. Alright, move. Margaret sniffles and wipes tears. She looks behind her to see if I'm still remaining close. Alright, and then we move. Yes, move. And then the sit up to shore. And then... Margaret is aghast. This possibility never occurred to her.
Is there any other path?
I ask urgently, making an effort to keep myself from sounding too panicked. The guide doesn't respond or even turn to face me. He just keeps staring ahead at the end of the pathway. And then he's like, oh, this was never the path.
I took the wrong
Wrong way,
I wonder.
mistake.
You actually mean that? Why would... How could...
Margaret stares wide-eyed, unable to finish a complete sentence. Right, the medicine. And... Move.
To show us the correct
And he doesn't know, but hey, we can go and then we will also still fail.
Kika, we can't stay.
Yep, we gotta move. The bridge begins to violently quake below us. This is foolish, there isn't enough time for any of us to make it. He is aware of that, but Kika does not go down without a fight. Margaret looks at me with heavy tears brimming in her eyes. Her fright is thinly veiled.
We're going to leave.
Margaret wipes her eyes with her sleeve and nods. And then we rush, and then it sinks, and then we rush, and then we Bip, bip, bloop, bloop, bloop.
One of us could help support you. Even
Alright. Then still fool those. And then
I
say
don't want
nothing.
to stay here. What if it breaks?
Yes, we need to move forward. If someone noticed.
Mm-hmm. And so now we're going to lose Margaret before still, you know, all dying.
Stop!
But I'm just going to see if there's like a slight bit of dialogue. Oh, hey, I think this is like different with like the focus on the hair.
Margaret!
Yeah, your voice can't help, bro. Oh wow, this one is more detailed. She struggles just below the surface of the thick water until the monsters make their way to her. And that's the end. Right, stillness,
You cannot
grief, move,
I'm going to
walk, will to.
Forget what you saw.
Okay. And Lou shuffles towards the guide. We didn't make it very far before he runs out of light for my lantern to remain in. Alright. Shit, so much. And then... Lou's mouth hangs open, completely dumbfounded over the sight.
Is there any other path?
I ask urgently, making an effort to keep myself from sounding too panicked. The guy doesn't respond or even turn to face me. He just keeps staring ahead at the end of the pathway.
Guide?
And then, blah blah blah, never so, wrong way. Lou stands still with an icy expression. Blah blah blah, yada yada.
You need to show us the correct.
Aha,
I have done all.
move. And it's, of course, futile, but Lou's looking up at me with a severe expression. Look, we don't really have any other options, but like, we're all gonna die anyway. The gargantuan jolt and blub 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 blub. You die. Alright,
one of us
and
could
now
help
let's go for like a
Even if you
legit
worry over another
say nothing. Guy knows how to manage, brisker pace. Mood has sunk into a low, murky pool. The demons of the lake and the pounding of our feet. Strange bridge. And narrow. Right, awkward halting. Begins to wobble. Ah, and
I will
now.
stay in the middle.
So yeah, I think we're like going to lose someone here anyway. So
No one has an opinion
I'm sorry,
on the
Lou.
matter. I would like to go last. It would be easier for me to match someone else's steps than to walk without a lead.
Yeah, that seems
I
fair
think I
enough.
could go.
Yeah, it's good. Goodbye, goodbye. And then the bridge bends, and Lou falls and
We need to
dies.
focus on.
Blah, 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 and let's see. Whoa. Whoops, I think I accidentally did something. Right, it mostly stays in one place. Not an extreme enough unbalance. For a moment he stares down at the path of darkness. Lou manages to inch closer and closer to the other side. However, his frantic pace causes him to misstep. He gasps as the upper section of the bridge lurches to the side. I want desperately to help him. However, I'm hit with the painful reality that the only way to do so is by remaining still. Any step I take towards him would only shake the bridge further. I have no choice but to simply watch what unfolds. And blub 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 blub. And yeah, we must keep going, keep walking. And there we go. Right,
Forget
some
what you saw.
repeat dialogue. And now that, you know, he isn't too affected by the drugs, he should be fine. Right, the shore. And is it like actually the shore? Let's see. Some silence. Ah, yes, I can smell the trees and the earth. And even through the fog I can almost count the remaining bridges between us and land. And then a prowler appears. Margaret rubs her hands, her eyes, in desperation or something. I eye the monster intently. It makes no move to leave us, so I turn to the guide instead.
Here, take my lantern. Once it's scared off, we'll make our way to the shore. It shouldn't be an issue with it so close by.
Yeah, like we're almost there. He extends his hand to accept my offer. Body tenses. The guide yeets.
Be ready to run.
And rerun. And we just run and run and run. And there we make it to the end with Margaret. I stumble forwards, nearly collapsing onto the ground while trying to catch my breath. It feels as though I've come out of a long dream. We made it. Margaret cries loudly, unable to contain her emotions as she reaches the shore. I should probably turn off those friend notification thingies. I rest there quietly for a few moments, taking time to allow my breathing and emotions to settle down. Finally, I look up from my lap to see Margaret standing ahead of me. Her face is buried in her hands. However, it's out of disbelief rather than the sorrow. It's been countless times in the past 2 days. She lifts her head out of her hands and both of us make eye contact. Prolonged eye contact. So that's a very, very niche meme. No words need to be exchanged between us to know what the other is thinking. I'm glad for it, because I'm not sure I would be able to speak, even if I needed to. The sound of sloshing and the bridge is gone. The guide walks. Right, leave. Yes, no idea what to say. Fog, circles, guide, defend, goodbye. And he begins to feel, Kika begins to feel uncomfortable, and I look away to face Margaret, not wanting to get caught up with this any longer.
Margaret, will you be coming?
Margaret's gaze goes past the guide and me. She fixates on the lake forlornly. I feel hopelessness emanating from her. She lost something important from the inside of her in that lake. Something she will never get back. I empathize greatly with her, knowing that feeling is one we will never escape from, even after this lake is far behind us. Margaret seems to shake the feeling off and turns toward me. The smallest of smiles graces her lips as she nods.
Yes, I'm coming.
Margaret's figure returns to her at the end of that sentence. She speaks with a little bit of the confidence she had at the beginning of the journey. She gives one last look to our lead. Her gaze is harsh and scrutinizing. I'm not entirely sure what she's trying to convey with the look, but that isn't for me to know. Margaret definitively turns. She then walks towards the forest. I can't help but wonder what will become of her now. Perhaps she will tell me someday. Despite the firmness, Heartsweaver, Pemelu is very sad anyway. Steadfast, village. Alright, urgency, moments of calm. Bemelev was gone, and Margaret and I parted ways before I arrived at Hamer. She did not say where she would be going or what she would be doing. She did, however, put on a smile as she departed, which I felt was more for my sake than her own. I hope she is well wherever she is, and I would like to think that somehow we may see each other once more on another day. Receiving payments. Blue was gone, and the guide is mystery, and the village elder and suffering, and the end. I know, let's do a cheeky one where it's just,
One of us could help
we're going to
support
save the...
even if you worry over another person being nearby. Putting up with that seems more reasonable than losing
yeah.
a sense of what's going on around you.
So this game has like a few key endings and then just different variations upon those. So right now I'm just trying to see like, hey, can we get to the end of the game with different characters surviving? You know, there's probably some other games you might think of, though they don't tend to be visual novels, where you can't really save everyone, so you just have to choose who you will save. And yeah, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Right, so now we get to this choice, we don't say anything, then we get to the next bridge, and we say
want to
nothing.
Stay here. What if it breaks?
Right, because now we had one where the other character fell into the water, and now we're going to see if we can get her to fall into the water. And then the other character will survive with us.
Yes, we need to move forward.
And a lot of the dialogue is the same, so I will be skipping through a lot of it.
Stop.
Right, rebalance, and then she falls, and then the monster takes her. It's a little repetitive, yes, but you can just quickly recognize the text, so then you can easily skip through those. And if you want to specifically do a choice again, you just have the skip button. You know, without that, I probably would have dropped the game after a few runs. But this means that you can just quickly go to a specific choice, take one option, go all the way to the end, then return and take the other option. So all in all, it's not too bad. An eerie stillness overtakes the area, and now Margaret is gone, but we still have Lou.
You cannot.
Now, it could still be pretty similar.
I'm going to.
It could also be unique. So we'll just have to see. Like, there's not much of choices after this, I think. So just
Forget what you saw.
forget what you saw. Yeah, see it, and they respond the same way, as if we had a different set of characters, and Bemele would be the one to fall. Right, Margaret was so bright, so thoughtful, even with her teasing remarks. She had so much to offer and was all lost in a moment. Especially this final part, had so much to offer and all lost in a moment. That's pretty much the same as with Bemele. Yes, this lake is full of murderous monsters called the Nixie. And at the very start of the game, the guide already tells you that someone is able to reach the other side, but at least one person will die before that happens. And then we're getting near the shore, so almost the ending. And then punched with the same dialogue. Here.
Take
Yeah, like this is one of those monsters. And they don't really react normally to human. Okay, so in this game you play as a village guard, and you are traveling along with another guard who's also one of your close friends. And a village nearby, a village that you're allied with, is under attack. So you two will have to go to the other village as soon as possible. Now, if there was no rush, you could just go around the lake and it would be all fine. But because of how urgent it is, you really have to go through the lake. And this is the lake full of those monsters. And these bridges are also very weird. They disappear during the day and then appear at night. And no human can like permanently change that. So the only one who really knows the layout and what are the dead ends are the guide. But when you first get to the lake, there's another person who also wants to travel, and that person is Margaret, the one who just died. And with that, it's guaranteed that one person will die. So if there's the guide and only one person, or only two people, then it's possible for everyone to make it. But if it's 3 or more, then there's a guaranteed loss at some point. And I think that even if you pick up Lou, who's just a random person who's also on the bridges at some point, that you will still lose 2 people at that point. Because you simply cannot make it with all 3, or even just 3 in total. The highest possible numbers of survivors, not counting the guide himself, is 2. And one of them will of course be the player character, because otherwise it's a game over before you get. Yes, death is very sad, but it's just a brutal lake. This lake Sinnlos. But yeah, and pretty much every ending where you do make it to the other end, there's also dialogue where you tell both the village that you're going to and the village that you come from to make sure that no one even tries to get close to the lake. And I must say that the writing is pretty decent, and I also really like this art style. Right, it's not too cartoony, but it's also not trying to be overly realistic. And the sort of blurriness with the fog or the distance or this creature also is like a really cool effect. It's funny you should say that, because after I made a few choices that formed a closer connection with Margaret, because the player character is also a woman, I was like, Yuri! But to be honest, I am not too experienced in like Yuri content, and I'm guessing you're thinking of visual novels, to make any sort of claims on whether you are right about this art style matching that or not. But yes, let's try to move forward with the game. Right, then we stay back. Something about this art style looks so women kissing. That's such a statement.
Be ready to run. Don't get left behind.
And then the guide will launch the lantern at the monster. And then we move. You run even. And you make it to the end. So now we're going to the ending dialogue. Right, stumbling forwards, nearly collapsing. Lou stares at the dirt. I cannot place what he might be feeling. I rest quietly. Then look up and see Lou standing. He stares to the lake. We can only guess. No words need to be exchanged. Then the wood makes sound as the bridges sink. again, weird supernatural bridges, weird supernatural creatures. No one really knows how it came to be that way or how it exactly works. The closest thing we have is the guide, but even he only knows so much. He just knows how to get through. Yeah, just magic and shit, basically. With that, the guide walks towards
It is
me.
time to leave this.
Yeah, and then we have to leave. And then a bunch of repeats. And let's see, does Lou have anything to say? Right, he gives a shaky smile.
Goodbye. And, thank you.
Right, so that's the exact same as if he had left Margaret behind at first and then Bemley would have died at the second part. And he's gone. And we will never figure out what happens to him after that. Right, proper farewell. Don't ascribe their lives to Sinnlos. And then here, the fight, the sun. They realized Bemley had died. And then the guide's report. Margaret known. Lou never reappeared. Perhaps we'll meet. And the guide remains mysterious. And then back to the usual life. No one should have to go to the lake. Much was lost. Hopefully this is a lesson learned for everyone. And then Lake of Voices. Yeah, the first few times, and of course the very first time you actually read thoroughly, but after that you can just see, oh hey, it's the same thing. But yes, that was the second stream of Lake of Voices. I'm planning to do at least one more. But right now I'm getting a little tired, my focus is also dwindling a bit. And this stream is... Right, so... There's not a whole lot more to it, I think. But there is what happens if I save Margaret at the very start. And then leave Lou behind. Because at first we left Margaret and Lou behind. And then I did the runs where we left Margaret behind to save Lou. So there's still one more set of routes. And then I'm going to see if there's a few tutorials so I can just quickly skip through to all the choices for some specific achievements. But yes, I've basically nearly completed the game and gotten a lot of achievements already, and I think I've had all of the key endings at this point, and just different iterations of those. But yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. I will be doing another Angry Birds epic stream at some point, but I don't know when. I'll just have to figure out when's a nice moment. I really want to just clear out this game at least. And yeah, then that's this stream. Have a nice day and see you later. Bye.